Peace to the family out there. Peace to the family out there. I know y'all wondering, what is that Inky got on his face? This right here is the only steroids you ever need right here. This right here, little device, I'm sure they're probably on sale by now. I'm sure they're probably on sale by now. Hold on, let me make sure my sound is right. Okay, my sound was not right. So glad to get that fixed quickly before the top of the hour. You keep banging the door, sir. Why are you doing that? I want to say peace to the entire Black Empowerment Network, right? Peace to the entire Black Empowerment Network. My name is Dr. Inky. I know some of you guys may not know who I am. I'm sure some of you guys do know who I am. Today's message, I'm gonna hold this in my hand so I remember to bring it back. But today's message, Brother Sekou thought was important enough to share with the family. So I'm gonna, I started a few minutes early today just to give everybody an opportunity to tune in, and not just tune in, but share the video. Right? Y'all know the routine. Y'all should know the routine by now, right? I know some of y'all probably don't know the routine. But the routine is if you're already subscribed, unsubscribe. you're already subscribed, go ahead and unsubscribe and then resubscribe. I know that sounds like, why would I do that? But we need help defeating the algorithms. So you can help us defeat the algorithms by doing that one little simple task, right? Unsubscribing and resubscribing. We got Mr. Richardson in the building. Osborne is in the building. We got AI in the building. Hey, isn't it funny that we got all of these people online right now? The big controversy is talking about the artificial intelligence and blah blah blah. Did you guys notice that? After I had the battle with artificial intelligence, me versus AI, right? Maybe I should clip that out of the larger video and just post that by itself, right? Maybe I should post that by itself. But yeah, that's gonna help us out. That is going to help us out tremendously. That is gonna help us out tremendously. Right? All right, we're gonna get started. We're gonna rock and roll. Make sure that you guys subscribe to American Healer YouTube page. So that way you guys catch all of the notifications, the broadcasts, just stay in tune with everything we're doing. Today we are going to have our first episode of Tell Us Why You Mad. That's going to be at 7 p.m. And because of the controversial nature of the program, that is only going to be on American Healer, right? The American Healer YouTube page, right? The American Healer YouTube page and probably the Facebook. Actually, I don't know if we're going to do Facebook. I don't know if we're going to do Facebook, right? I have to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody that's been participating in the 100 push-up a day challenge, the Blue Magic Heart Challenge. I want to shout out everybody that's been donating to the cause, right? So definitely go ahead and feel free. Support, join the Patreon, hit the Cash App, right? There's nowhere on earth where you can get this information at. And I solely rely on you guys. You know, I'm always getting blackballed from new platforms. So I need you guys to support. $ Minister Inky. Go ahead and hit the Cash App. Go to the website, AmericanHealer.website. And I'm sure that some of you are wondering about this. In the background and over my head here. Right? Let me step out your way. Get all the way out the way so you guys can see. Yeah, so you guys get a good look. The same way people, you know, you got the Arab community and you got the African community and the Chinese community. The same way they bootleg the designer clothing lines, they bootleg the designer, I should say custom designer, top of the line health products, right? So you have many people out there that are literally bootlegging Dr. Inky's brand. You have a Blue Magic website that I have nothing to do with. You have many people that are trying to call their Batana oil, which is not actually Batana oil. It's actually a butter because it's not liquid at room temperature. It's solid and it's burned, which means it's full of carcinogens. They have been using the Blue Magic name on that. That is not related to me in any shape, form, or fashion. When I promote Batana oil, I do not promote saturated fat, burned Batana oil. That is not healthy for you. That is not nutritious, right? That is not a part of the Blue Magic Heart Challenge. So I just want to, you know, constantly reiterate that because a lot of people have been hitting me up lately saying that they've been supporting. And yeah, I went to the Blue Magic website and yeah, like there's no Blue Magic website. There's no Blue Magic website. The website is American Healer website. And the reason why people choose to bootleg the products is because they cannot duplicate the products. They cannot duplicate the products. And though many of you have heard Inky's late with the this and that, blah, blah, blah. That's true. I am often late, but that's because the products are all made to order per person and they're handmade and they're custom made and they are very effective. They're very effective and potent. So sometimes I am late, but over the 2 decades that I've been doing this, the effectiveness and the efficiency of the products when people receive them have spoken louder than any of the other noise out there, which is the reason why so many people want to be, you know, they want to duplicate and bootleg the brand, right? So make sure you get your American Healer website on, not .com. Again, we always exclusive. So while they doing .coms, we doing website. So American Healer website literally is American Healer website, American Healer website, right? So with that said, we're going to get into the craziest, probably true, right? The craziest video that you've ever seen on push-ups ever in your life, right? This is the craziest video because this is the craziest thing. I know a lot of y'all are tripping on this, right? And I got to repeat this story because it's very important before we even get into the conversation. Oh, let me thank you guys once again. You see my mic. It's got the green screen magic stuff on it, so you can't really see it. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Anyway, but it's worth me repeating this story because it's important. We've been doing this isometrics and calisthenics thing for as long as I can remember. You know, as long as you guys have seen me, you know, that's been what we've been on, right? And so it's interesting that Harvard, you know, after we released After we released this book, here we go. Is it better for you guys to see? Okay, my green screen magic is a little, okay, there we go. But after we released this book, more like a pamphlet, right? You can purchase them on the website, but we gave them away, PDF versions, etc. Over 100,000 copies. After we did that, Harvard released a study, literally like co-signing everything that's in the book, right? Because we don't just promote push-ups, we promote push-ups per minute, right? And the goal is to try to reach 60 push-ups in 60 seconds. And when I began talking about this, it seemed like maybe I had 3 heads, or like it was a crazy thing, because people just couldn't get the understanding of it. And I'm like, no, this is based on your anatomy and how your body relates to the cosmos, because our galaxy, like the way the sun and the solar system works, is because it's on a 60-degree angle. And you have 60,000 miles of blood vessels that your red blood cells have to travel through every 60 seconds. So I'm saying that when you do this like this is how you maximize, the blood flow in the heart and blah, 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 blah. And my loyal family, they like, yeah, we with you, Inc. We with you, Inc. Right? Shout out to Janelle. I don't know if she's watching or not, but I need to get Janelle on the challenge. But she got that. Whenever I hear that now, I think of her voice, because she came out to the documentary and all that stuff. But my loyal people is like, yeah, we with you regardless. You know what I'm saying? But now that Harvard has released a study, it's gotten crazier, and so I just want to appreciate everybody that's supporting. But it's insane, the level of efficiency from that study. 96% reduced cardiovascular risk for a community that's poisoned with cigarettes, cigars, blunt wraps, backwoods, foul air. And I'm a New York City boy. I'm from the Bronx. When you come from the Bronx, right, the only time you could smell air pollution is literally when you go to New Jersey. New Jersey is the only place more foul in America than New York City. That this is just a fact. Because when you leave New York City, everywhere else smells like fresh air. Even Detroit. And Detroit got like dumps in the middle of the city. Detroit got dumps in the middle of the city, and somehow it still smells fresher than New York in Detroit. But Jersey is the only place where you get then like, what is oh, we calling across the bridge. Like if you sleep on the I-95 and you're just driving up from south wherever and you come into New York, you literally know when you hit New Jersey because that smell hit you, right? Many people don't discuss it. You know what I'm saying? The government's not going to, the agencies aren't going to discuss it because of the mess up the economy of these places and the operation going on in these projects. But the air quality is one of the number one things that limits your lifespan, your spirituality. It destroys the natural processes that like your body's subconscious processes, right? Your thought rhythms is one of the contributing factors to the reason why people are so angry in New York. The big buildings, they block the light from reaching the people, and all you have is that smog at ground level, to where, you don't have any connection with the earth in New York. Now that's different in Jersey. So Jersey doesn't have that. They got the foul smell, but they don't have the disconnect from the earth, which is going to be a large part of our conversation. I talked about grounding and connecting with the earth years and years ago. Even got out there and was trying to do some stuff while I still lived in the Bronx, only to be riding on the train one day, subway. I don't know, people out of town understand, but the subway system in New York is different than any other place. It is the entire city. Like, the subway system in New York is the same size as New York. And it creates a huge disconnect from all of the people that live in New York from the actual grid of the planet. You are not connected to the magnetic or the electric field of the planet in New York City. That is very dangerous. That is very dangerous on your health, and your mood, how you connect with people. That's why and I didn't know till I left New York that it's only New York where it's just up. Like, it's up, period. Like, the first time I moved out of New York, I thought people wanted to fight. I was like hyper defensive, and people just wanted to say hi. I'm like, yo, what you looking at? Like, why you staring? Like, what's happening? You know me? I owe you something? Like, no, I just, you're a new neighbor. Like, Mr. Rogers, what is this Mr. Rogers program? So it's a thing. It's a thing. And these are things that we don't really pay attention to. We don't get sick or feel under the weather or have a headache or have cold hands and feet or, have slow healing wound. Like, we never think that we're disconnected, even though subconsciously we know it, right? Because, eat more vegetables or get some sea moss or get some. Well, all of these things are highly nutritious because what? Because they come from that grid. They come from connected to the earth. We think only about the sunlight coming down, but we don't think about the magnetism coming out. Like, the sun is giving us electricity, but the earth is giving us huge amounts of magnetism. And that magnetic field, that magnetism is crucial to your health, right? So yeah, when we're just on the tip of the iceberg and we're like, oh yeah, we gotta we gotta get more fruits in, more vegetables in, more algae in our diet. Really, we gotta connect more, because those are like little temporary, So, man, I definitely appreciate it, man. Hashtag Genius Lives Matter. That's the movement. That's the movement. So today we're going to have an interesting conversation. We're going to have an interesting conversation. Peace to everybody at work, right? We're going to have a very interesting conversation. Wait, what's that right now? Share screen. Okay, so the share screen has changed. Okay. What's this? Hey, okay, so we can be over here or over here. Interesting. All right. I'm like a big kid. All right. All right. So let's take a look at this. I know you're like, well, wait a minute, Ink. Where does this fit into the conversation? All right. first things first, let me start here. Okay, where's the little boom? Okay, so first things first, there's a huge conversation out there, which we're not going to get into right now. We're going to get into some aspects of it, though. There's a huge conversation out there about binary being a social construct. And yeah, that is very far from the truth. That is very far from the truth. Actually, non-binary is the social construct, and that social construct was constructed beginning with Alfred Kinsey, and then formally socially constructed by John Money. Okay, JOHNMONEY. John Money was actually the guy who invented non-binary as a actual thing, and put out into the world that binary was a social construct. And through various experiments in pedophilia, Alfred Kinsey and John Money created this whole paradigm. Now, why it's relevant to our conversation is because we have to discuss your health, right? And one of the things that is missing from these conversations is that you only have two kinds of cells in your body. And this is very important because your hormones work on your cells based on resonance or receptivity, right? And so women have only X chromosomes. Cool. But men have X and Y chromosomes. So all throughout your body, you actually have female and male cells. You don't just have like a liver cell, for instance. I want to make this as plain as possible. The cells that make up your liver are male or female. The cells that make up like your lung or your leg or your kneecap, these are male or female. And why that's important is because if that begins to change due to your own modifying of your chromosomes, your hormones will either become less effective or more effective, which will change how your body works, how your body ages in many aspects, how your mind functions, right? So it's very important for us to understand that we live in an electric and magnetic universe, and that electric and magnetic aspect of the universe is built into the framework of each one of the living creatures on this planet. That is binary. You have two strands of DNA. That is binary, right? The entire fabric of life on this planet is binary. It's very important for us to understand that, because when we separate ourselves from that electric and that magnetic, we cannot sustain our life. We cannot sustain our life. Literally, getting in fresh food is getting in food that has that electric and that magnetic in it. That's literally what getting in fresh food is all about. Like at its core, at its base, before we get into the deep, chemicals and this, that, and the other, and at its base, living food, fruits, vegetables, algae, those things have the electric and the magnetic. And we feel that, we get that when we eat those things. That is the one thing that can't be duplicated in a laboratory, no matter what type of designer lab food that they make. It doesn't have the living component, right? And even when they give you genetically modified fruits and vegetables, the nucleotides and the nucleosides are different and may be incompatible with your body. So you again, the hormones and the receptivity is not there, right? So there's no information transfer, which is another piece that's very important to how we're eating and what it is that we're eating, right? So I know people were kind of disappointed because we were supposed to have this yesterday, and then we got delayed and delayed again, and then we just pushed it back a whole nother day. So yeah, relax yourself, relax your mind, let your conscience be free, right? So we're gonna go in today. Let me get this right. Share audio. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear this audio. Yo, this is the craziest thing ever. Men are literally losing their Y chromosomes. And I'm not talking about in alternate generations later on and all that. I'm talking about right now. As you're going from your 20s to your 30s to your 40s, you're losing your Y chromosome. As you lose the Y chromosome, literally the thing that makes you a man, your risk for heart disease goes up. Now, the main causes are tobacco use and diabetes and stress. How does it work? Well, stress actually works indirectly by neutralizing the male hormones. But tobacco and diabetes both work directly by literally destroying the Y chromosome. Period. Getting the Y chromosome up out of there. Now, Harvard has done a study to show that if you can do more than 40 push-ups in less than a minute, you have a 96% reduction in your chances for cardiovascular disease. Now, come on. This is free. You ain't got to go to a gym. This is just too easy. 96% chance. If you don't want to live for yourself, live for your kids. Think about it. You don't want to lie to your son when he's saying, let's go to the park and play basketball, and you know you ain't got nothing else to do. You can go play basketball with that boy, but you don't want to go out there because you know you're going to be embarrassed. You need a timeout after 2 baskets. Now, what kind of daddy need a timeout after 2 baskets? So listen, help me to help you. Help me to help you. That's all I'm saying. Help me help you. Blue Magic Heart Challenge. Period. Hashtag Blue Magic Heart Challenge. Me and you going to do 100 push-ups every day. Period. 10, 10, 10, 10, 20. We take 5s. If you got time, you could do 1 push-up, take a break, 1 push-up, take a break, you could do that 100 times to get the 100 push-ups. Period. But help me to help you to be here for our babies. Period.
He is a universal monarch, a universal king, which he manifests and he shows evidence of. The black man of Asia. He is a human being of flesh and blood. He comes as a teacher, as a manifestation of God. He is called the Buddha, the intelligent one, the one who has achieved intelligence. He comes to explain the laws of the universe. He comes to confirm that there is, in fact, life after death. When the Buddha appears, he appears as a preacher, and And he preaches to Dharma, that existence is a continual cycle of death and rebirth, and that each person's position and well-being in life is determined by his or her behavior. This is a depiction of the future Buddha who would make this manifest at the point before the end of this century. Now, the scriptures of the world have all prophesied. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, you heard?
Every word you ever spoke, every word you ever heard, every food you ever ate, every drink you ever drunk, every person you ever had sex with, every private part you put in your mouth, every show you ever watched, every song you ever heard, every breath you ever took, every book you ever read, every action you ever took, and more importantly, every action you never took is fixing your death date right now. I need you to know that. So if you didn't know that before, you know that now. Right? So tuck this away in your mental Rolodex. 100 a day keeps the doctor away. We are too smart online to be dumb in real life. Right? I want these to become like little mantras for you. I want these to become like mantras for you. 100 a day keeps the doctor away. Blue Magic Heart Challenge, right? 100 a day. That's the slogan. 100 a day keeps the doctor away, right? And that 100 is such a great number because for those of us, remember I'm saying us, for those of us that are struggling to do 100 push-ups, you can do them any kind of way. You could do onesies, twosies, 5 sets of 10, sets of 20. You know, if you big boys, you know, you feeling yourself. You can do you a set of 40, set of 50. You know what I mean? You could do 102 sets if you with the big boys. You know what I'm saying? You get down here to the little guys. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got bust down like 4, 5 sets. And the folks that's totally out of shape, they might need 10 or more sets, right? But we got some folks that are really in good shape, right? And so for you guys, the challenge is, can you do 100 in 60 seconds? You know, 120 to be exact. Can you do 120, right? Because while we talk about the 60,000 miles that you have of blood vessels, you have 120,000 miles of lymphatic system. So that's the goal, hit that 120, right? 120, that number always come back, right? That's that 120 for you right there. Hit that 120. Can you do 2 push-ups a second? You know, like that's taking it to another level, right? But 100 a day keeps the doctor away. Now, very important takeaway from the conversation. And trust me, we're going to be here because we got work to do. We got 100 or so slides. The book is getting longer and longer and longer. I know y'all know the book. For those of you that don't know, I have a book that I've been giving away for free, right? And I'm going to update it finally now. But the last update was at 1,400 pages. So I've got like another 500 or 600 pages to add to that. So it's close to 2,000 pages now. So yeah, right. But here's what I want you guys. One of the things I want you guys to take away from this. We are too smart online to be dumb in real life. Okay. It don't have that ring like the 100 a day keeps the doctor away type of vibe, but I still want you to ingrain this in your mind. We're too smart online to be dumb in real life. We come online and we have every solution you can imagine. right? We know why the government's doing this. Oh, the economy is getting ready to crash. Here's the crypto. Oh, go vegan for this and that. Yeah, we know everything online. But it's like soon as the computer goes off and we go back into our real lives, we leave all of our intelligence in the computer. We leave all of our intelligence in the internet. And then it becomes a prison. Listen to what I'm saying. It becomes a prison because you've created a persona online that's so intelligent, you can't ask for help. You can't ask for help because it conflicts with your online persona. But we watching you. We see you getting fat. We see you getting sick. Like we see it. These are all facts. And then what? After that happens, then what? Because you done painted yourself into a corner. No, this challenge started with me saying, hey, I done slipped. I done went through a rough divorce, custody battle. Took me almost 6 years to get my children, damn near cost me everything. I'm off point. I done fell off. I'm not where I need to be. You know what I mean? I'm sober. I need to get high again. You know what I'm saying? I need that blue magic. I'm sober. I need a hit. Right? Help me. Help me to get back high again. Help me to get back that natural high. Yeah, the natural high. Yeah, that natural dopamine, those natural cannabinoids that come from calisthenics and isometrics. Help. And people's like, what? Yeah, Ink, what's good? Let's go. And so now it's catching on. It's addictive. But I never had that in me where I felt like I needed to fake, but I understand because I speak to a lot of people how the social media persona can trap us. Even a lot of people that's participating, they're like, yo, I'll send you my pictures or videos, but don't share it. And that's kind of understandable from some of the sisters, even though it's not really understandable, but it's acceptable. But the brothers, yo, yeah, nah, don't show nobody me doing my push-ups. I'm like, what? What? What are you talking about? Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah. So I get it, but we got to get out of that space. We cannot be geniuses online and then be dumb offline. We can't let our bodies rot. Literally, let our bodies rot. While we prop ourselves up or while we get fake, we put on the makeup, we get in the fake this, fake lips, fake eyes. Men have fake penises now. Yeah, penis replacement surgery is booming, right? Women, fake butts, boob, and like we're literally, and the craziest thing is that the people with the fake body parts are the people making the most money in the health community. And I'm always the guy in trouble. I'm the guy in trouble that's getting, black, don't listen, don't let Inky say nothing. Don't get the mic away from Inky. Get the mic away from Inky because he might say something. Yeah. Get the mic away from Inky because he might say something. The people with the fake body parts are the people they run in the health industry because people are confused. You guys think that big muscles means healthiness. And, it can be a determining factor, but you don't know what those big muscles represent. And, we're going to get into, but most of the bodybuilders, they die from heart disease. at young ages, like NFL players. And the NFL players look amazing. Why are they in the NFL? But they got like the shortest lifespan. NFL players live on average like 5 to 10 years tops after they retire. And they don't play for that long. So, but they say it's a good sacrifice to change the financial future of their family, right? But it's about being disconnected from the electro and magnetic grid that life spring from. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to go into anatomy. I'm going to show you guys some stuff about your anatomy today that you probably never seen or heard of before. But these are all facts, and you know how we give it up, right? I got to show you that. I got it from the ancestors, And then of course we got some scientific documentation and blah 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 blah, but always, y'all know my research goes to the ancestors first. So anyway, we are too smart online to be dumb in real life. So we cannot know all of this information and then not take 10 minutes to do some push-ups or not actually support the actual person that you're supposed to be supporting. Don't get the knockoff products. You got to get the real blue magic, which is our unique sea moss blend, right? And why is our sea moss blend any different than anybody else's? Well, first of all, we start off with a different type of water. So the water we use has a proprietary blend in it already. So it's not regular water, right? So the water has been treated with momatomics. That's the first thing. Then we have a blend of algae that we put in. And then we have lichen that we use to extract the vegan vitamin D3. And then we put 27 exclusive Dr. Sebi herbs into the blend. And then we put a blend of Dr. Inky's herbs in, and that is what gives you your blue magic. And that's why nobody can repeat it. Nobody can duplicate it. It's not a duplicatable formula, right? It's a formula within a formula within a formula. You can't duplicate it, right? So, yeah. And then as far as our Batana oil, we are the only ones that I know of that actually has Batana oil. Those other places, those other people that are telling you that Batana oil, they don't have an oil because it's solid at room temperature. So this is just regular science. If it's solid at room temperature, it's a butter. It's not an oil. It's saturated fat, not unsaturated fat. And we know saturated fat, before we even get into any toxicity or any chemicals, we know saturated fat is bad for your heart. Like literally, people are going vegan to get rid of the saturated fat, right? So that's not a thing. So we can't be this smart online and then be dumb in real life where we just buy burned saturated fat. Like we buying it and we open it and we smell it, it's burned. Yeah. So no, that's not what we're doing. All right. Wisdom, strength, and beauty. Wisdom is something that you get from a lifetime of active study. A lifetime of study. Strength is something that comes from a lifetime of exercise. Beauty is the combination of wisdom and strength. It comes from a lifetime of self-imposed discipline, right? And I wanted to introduce this vocabulary word to you guys, right? So I know some of y'all going to see that and immediately your mind's going to go in the gutter, right? If I said, especially if I refer to a woman as thixotropic or thixotropic, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know what Inky trying to say. That's how the scientists say thick. No. This is not that. This ain't got nothing to do with being thick, right? But I do want to, let me see if I can look this up. I want to share this vocabulary word with the family. Boom. So easy peasy, Google search. Very important to add to your mental Rolodex. Thixotropic. A thixotropic fluid is one that takes a fixed time to return to its equilibrium, viscosity, when subjected to abrupt changes in shear rate. In other words, the liquid becomes thinner or flows more easily when shaken, stirred, or agitated or otherwise stressed. Why this is important. Now, I've coined a new phrase, right? I've coined a new phrase, and I want you guys to add this to your mental Rolodex, right? Reversibly thixotropic. Now that you know what that means, reversibly thixotropic, right? Because that is the nature of your entire biochemistry, right? Your entire biochemistry. This is how everything in your body works. So if you just write those two words down, meditate on them, study those, go deeper into the definition of that, right? Think about the plasmas and the blood and the you know, structured water, if you will, the gel, all of those different things. Have that in your mind, because we're going to have a conversation about this guy, right? Shu, which is why, I thought it fitting to go ahead and rock our shoe wear today, right? Just shoe it. Just shoe it, right? Just shoe it, right? We're going to have a conversation about this guy. Is something that's very interesting with this feather that we totally, so got to give you guys a little bit of history with this online fraudulent fake conscious community. So you have this little group of guys that been calling themselves like the Kemetic scholars, right? So again, this is another reason why I'm always in trouble. I get blackballed from different channels anyway, because they don't want to hear me. When I start speaking, people's money and stuff starts messing up, because they run and scam, and I start saying, So anyway, these guys are supposed to be like the authorities on all things Kemet, all things ancient Egypt. They take trips over there back and forth. So, and this is like 10 years ago. I was having these arguments, not even really arguments, like just really just slapping folks around. Like, bro, you're not a Kemetic scholar. Simple. It's easy to prove you're not a Kemetic scholar because you keep saying the feather of Ma'at, right? So for me, anybody that was using that terminology that really, like, it's one thing to understand that your target audience may know less than you do. So you use like familiar things that they understand to kind of raise their that's one thing. But when you don't really know yourself, no, that's a problem. You're not a scholar, bro. If you think that there is such a thing as a feather of Ma'at, you can't be a Kemetic scholar because there's no such thing, right? And so this was like the first of many situations that, be unforgivable offenses in the online community. I'm like, there's no such thing as a feather of Ma'at. Let's just start with that. Ma'at is wearing Shu's feather. That is the feather of Shu. It's called literally a shut. It's literally named after Shu because it's his. And I'm like, if you were a Kemetic scholar, you would know that. Like, that's feather belongs to Shu. That's, shoes thing, right? So anyway, fast forward some years, and I did a video class, wound up being kind of a classic, where we looked at the weighing of the heart ceremony, right? And again, controversial. I talked about the heart being magnetic and the feather representing electricity, or the nature of electricity, or an electric field, if you will, magnetic field versus an electric field. And in that conversation, basically the context, the simplification anyway, was your body, your animal body, your flesh, right, is electric, right? But your soul is luminous. That's light. And your spirit is magnetic. So when you transition the weighing of the heart ceremony scene, anyway, what we know popularly, the scene where, the heart is on one side, the feathers on the other side, what's being measured is your physical actions, right? Which in your electric body, versus the knowledge, memory, experiences stored in that magnetic field. Because in our known universe, there's no other way that information can be stored except in magnetic fields, right? And so, like many other things, folks have to get verification. So I like to use MIT, Stanford, Harvard, because that works for folks, right? And they did plenty of studies, and now it's a thing. When I first started talking about it, it wasn't a thing, but now it's Heart Math and Heart Institute and all this other kind of stuff where they show the magnetic field of the heart and blah, 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 blah. So, okay, cool. Today, we're going to upgrade everybody again. We're going to upgrade everybody again. It's going to get, we're going to upgrade everybody again, right? A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the vessel that was used to represent the heart, also being a tool of the doctors, the Sunu in Kemet. So the timepiece, how they kept time, was a heart-shaped vessel with a little hole in it. And each drop of water coming out of that vessel was timed. They had different ones, and they would time it to your heartbeat, right? And so water plays a crucial role in this weighing of the heart ceremony. But if you don't know what you're looking at, you won't be able to see that whole thing, right? So structured water is a very large part of the Kemetic science. So, yeah. So I beat up the Kemetic scholars to death because they don't know any of these things. I'm like, how can you teach? You're not teaching Kemetic science. If they just change the terminology, I'd be off their back. But you're not teaching Kemetic science. You're teaching Kemetic history, right? You're teaching Kemetic history. Who invaded and who went to war, and we found skulls in the ground. That's history. That's not science, right? Even with the gods and the herbs, the 5% community, I had to pull a belt, I had to pull their pants up too. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, we got knowledge of science, or the Nation of Islam. We got knowledge of self. Excuse me, knowledge of self. I'm like, no, you don't have knowledge of self, bro. You think you have knowledge of self because you memorized a bunch of lessons, but you don't actually have knowledge of self. Because if I ask you, like, what is the electron transport chain? You don't know the answer to that. If I ask you, what is NAD? What does it do? You don't know the answer to that. If I ask you how many mitochondria you have in a cell, you don't know the answer to that. If I ask you how long is your, how much blood vessels, you don't have the answer to that. How big is your lungs? You don't have the answer to that. See, all of those things would be knowledge of self. Knowledge of how fast the earth spins or how far the earth is from the sun, that's not knowledge of self. Knowledge of the sun is astronomy. Knowledge of the planet is geology, right? So you have knowledge of geology, you have knowledge of astronomy, you have lots of science that is very good and applicable. I'm not knocking it. I would never knock the supreme wisdom lessons or the supreme mathematics or any of those things, right? But I'm just saying, in today's world, we need to know what's going on with ourself. We got to have real knowledge of self. And that's what I specialize in, right? Particularly diabetes, because that is the biggest plague known to have ever hit brown and black people on this planet. And we're going to take a look at that, right? We're going to take a look at that, right? We're going to see some interesting things today to correlate to our timeline, and some interesting stuff going on in the timeline. So anyway, I'll talk you out of death. Oh, beautiful point. We're not going to stay long on this slide, right? But one thing we should have learned, at least from this whole big situation, is that your immune system can even kill you, right? So for the longest, I was telling people, yo, your immune system is not what you think it is. Your immune system doesn't work the way you think it works, blah, 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 blah. Another thing that people thought I was, oh, he's making that up. See, he's not a real doctor. He don't know what he's talking about. All right. Pandemic hit. Oh, yeah, it's a cytokine storm that's killing everyone. I'm like, interesting. Can you define that? Do you know what that is? Do you know where cytokines come from? Yeah, from viruses. Ah! Yo, I'm dead. I'm like, no, that's not how that works, family. Right? So again, it's cool. It's cool. I just put the information out there, and then I dropped the, I used to call myself Nostradamus because I have a big nose, but I just put these things out there. It was 2000, I want to say 2008 or 2007 or something. Whenever I last did my last class in Black and Nobel, I told people then, I said, listen, I'm just so far ahead of you guys. It seems like what I'm saying I'm making up, but we're going to get into a time period coming pretty soon where we're going to talk about electrons like we would talk about calcium or magnesium, like a regular nutrient. Oh yeah, you talking crazy. You okay? All right, we'll see. And that time is now. That's what we're approaching, right? And so with the previous classes, we talked about how the binary code becomes the cytokines and these things. This is how cells communicate and subcellular life communicates, right? So yeah, you guys can go to American Healer YouTube page and watch some of those videos, or go to the website, AmericanHealer.website. The YouTube videos are at the bottom of the website. Just scroll down and you'll see the YouTube videos there, right? I have a much longer conversation on this slide than I'm going to give you guys today, but I'm just going to point out today for time's sake and keep moving, that you have 7 layers of your body, right? And this is not like it's not like a fake thing, right? It's not like a fake thing. Your skin has 3 layers, your mucous membrane has 3 layers, and then you have the organs, right? It's just not an imaginary fake thing. You don't need to call Hindu deities into your body, or, do anything weird or any wild sexual practices. This is just actual anatomy. And a lot of what we are going to talk about today centers on these layers of skin and how they're connected and how electricity moves through them. So I felt it was important for me to at least put them there, and that way when you guys download the book, right? When you guys download the books after this conversation, I'm gonna if I get a break, because today I got so many programs. Like we got Tell Us Why You Mad, and then I'm on with Brother Sekou. So we got a bunch of stuff going on today. So between today and tomorrow, I will update the book, put it on the site. It'll be available to download for free. But you'll see a lot of our conversation today is based on the layers of flesh. Today is mostly based on anatomy and how your anatomy works and how people have been playing games. We're going to talk about games a lot. Gaming, games, neurochemistry. There's a lot of nuances to our conversation today. So I just want you guys to have this, right? Now, here we're going to start to look at some interesting caveats to our timeline, right? Now, I'm not going to go through this part, but this will be in the book, right? So you will have this timeline here. And this timeline starts in 1798 when Napoleon invades Egypt, moves to 1859 with Charles Darwin's Origin of Species, and then it goes, you see, what is that, 1953, Alfred Kinsey. You see 1969, John Money. So lots of interesting things are in this timeline, right? That'll be in your download. We're not going to do that today. We're going to, that's kind of just like study material for you to read and have and reference and do your own thing with. But this is very important. I like to always show people this, right? 1865 is where diabetes begins to formulate. So, yeah, very interesting thing here. I just like to allow that to be a thinking activity. You do what you want to do with that information. But look at that. Look at that timeline. Look at that timeline with diabetes cases. So it's very interesting to me that after we leave the sugar plantations, this diabetes timeline begins to go crazy, right? So, that's that, right? Max Planck, right? We have Max Planck. I don't know how I got these. There you go. But Max Planck, these are his papers, which began his studies into black body radiation. Mind you, Germany was obsessed at this time period with studying actual black bodies, right? They were obsessed with understanding black genetics. Black Gene Ethics was my first book, right? But so I spent a lot of time studying all of the scientists that came out of Germany, all of the science that came out of Germany, because that produced Hitler, right? That produced Margaret Sanger. So you can't really understand what's going on in the world chemically with biogenetics research or with pharmaceutical drugs or with the food. And you just can't understand any of this if you can't put in this proper perspective, right? So some of this you have to go all the way back to kind of Gaul and how that becomes Germany, and even the pre-English explosion, right? The pre-English explosion before World War I and World War II, which is just like 5 minutes ago in the scales of history. English was not the predominant language around the globe. It was German. Everybody had to learn German because German was where all the science was coming from, and science rules the world, right? So post those wars, English kind of took over, and Chinese and French are on the verge of taking over. Chinese is going to take over for its tiny, tiny window, but French is going to overtake Chinese very rapidly. Right. So anyway, these are very important things for you to know, because this starts a very dark time period that leads to this. Right? It leads to this. And again, this is part of a much larger conversation, so we don't have to go too crazy into everything. But 1889, I wanted to make particular note of. 1889 was a very important year that shaped everything that's happening now. So there's a lot of things that happened before and after 1889. But 1889 specifically was a very, very interesting year in history. Right? A very interesting year in history. Right? So January 1st starts off with a complete blackout of the sun. Those of you that have been doing your homework, you know that the esoteric movement of the Nazis was the Black Sun movement. You know, that's what their whole thing was based on, and the Blavatsky, this and that and the other. So it all starts with the Black Sun, right? And so we know a lot of the Nazi scientists, after the whole thing went down, they came to America and blah blah blah. So, right, but you got to know that it starts with this 1889 thing here, right? So January 1st is a blackout of the sun, right? 1889 is also when we get John Pemberton, right? John Pemberton was a American pharmacist and a Confederate States Army vet, right? So remember, I know some of you don't enjoy this stuff because, you know, you have a disconnect in your mind. As brown and black people, you like to keep on voting for the Democrats, but you need to know that you're voting for the Confederates. You know, that's just to make it simple, right? So the Democrats are the Confederates, who were the people fighting to maintain slavery. Anyway, our good pharmacist here, John Pemberton, right? He started Coca-Cola. Yeah. Coca-Cola was started as medicine. It was medicine. That's how Coca-Cola was started. Why is that important to know? Because you're still trying to heal yourself by turning to people that thought a blend of alcohol and cocaine was medicine. Okay? Alcohol and cocaine. That is the original Coca-Cola formula. Alcohol mixed with cocaine. So these are things that you should just know, right? 1889, Columbia Records starts the enslavement of black sound. A very, very important yet not discussed event that's been glossed over. Like a lot of people, I noticed they talk about Vlad the Impaler and all these kind of different things, but they rarely talk about this event. And when this event happened, it was very occult, very occult. And I don't mean occult in terms of the actual definition of it, but I mean like a ritualistic thing that went on that was just shocking and left everybody in awe. People didn't understand what was going on, right? It was a double suicide, ritual suicide of the Austrian uh, prince and princess. And then that event was followed by the birth of this gentleman, the Austrian, right? I know some of you didn't know that he was Austrian, but yeah, Hitler was Austrian. So you have a ritual double suicide of Austrian royalty, and then after that comes this guy. Interesting, right? On a brighter note, maybe we also have Nintendo in the Wall Street Journal. Right? Then we have Mother Nature destroying the Navy. We also have the Eiffel Tower goes up, right? A iron pillar erected, right? A iron phallus erected, pun intended, an erect iron phallus, right? And they're like, oh, this is art. I'm like, it's interesting as art, but it's a lot more interesting when you understand that the earth is magnetic and we live in an electric atmosphere. And you have, it just becomes different. So hopefully, by the time we have the end of this conversation, you look back, right? That's also the first year that the pandemic hit, right? First year the pandemic hit, right? Yeah. This is also when they came with rubber. So this is when they start creating the idea to separate us from the earth, right? Remember, rubber is an insulator. It blocks electricity and magnetism, right? They also came with the same tree sap. Remember, rubber is a tree sap. They also use tree sap for what? What do they also use tree sap for? Think about that. Condoms. Yeah, condoms. And condoms have holes in it, right? People have talked about that. Oh, the holes are, but you don't really think about, okay, if it has holes in it where microbes can fit through, then what's the real full purpose of the condom? Well, it's to block some of that connection that a man and a woman would experience, that electromagnetic connection with some of this. Yeah, latex is anyway. Yeah. Anyway, right? June 28th, halfway through the year, there's another blocking of the sun. Like, this is crazy in 1889, right? So then you get the yellow fever, right? You also get the first time that synthetic electricity blanketed the earth. Also, this is the first time synthetic electricity starts to blanket large swaths of the earth, right? 1914 to 1918, the militaries coated the globe with the radio antennas. 57, radar goes worldwide. 68, satellite goes worldwide, right? So what you have is a process of terraforming. Why is it important for us to have this conversation? Because the earth, our luxuries, are killing us, right? And that's the most gentle way I can put it, to be compliant with, the different groups of people that will watch this video and try to, but terraforming is taking place. And as a result of that, many of the life forms on this planet are taking a hit. And we are one of them. Yeah, we are one of them. You know what I'm saying? We're also taking a hit. A lot more life forms have went extinct in the last 50 years to 100 years than ever any time recorded on this planet. And the reason is because of the fact that here's something I've been saying over and over, right? Now, just think about this. When you go to school and you learn about anatomy, they never talk about electricity. They never talk about light. They never talk about magnetism, right? Even though we know that ionic current is literally a current, right? Even though we know that phosphorus in the presence of oxygen gives off light, right? Even though we know that iron is not something that needs to be treated in order to be magnetic, it's magnetic by itself. And so we literally have trillions of pieces of iron flying through our circulatory system at literally 60,000 miles a minute. Now think about that. When you go 60 miles an hour, you go 60 miles an hour. Think about how fast that is. Now you multiply that exponentially to get to 60,000 miles in a minute. That's how fast you got these magnets moving through your body. And yet there's no conversation of magnetism in school. No doctor, no dietitian, none of them. They can tell you that, oh yeah, we talked about the magnetism. No, they don't learn that. It's not there. Because science negates that. Just like it negates water, it negates melanin, right, in your biochemistry. And, we've talked at length about water and melanin. So they'll pop up from time to time today. But today we're going to talk about the third thing that you guys have heard me talk about from time to time that's negated in your anatomy, which is called fascia. The fascia have everything to do with this unstoppable charge of heart disease and brain disease. But again, remember what I told you. It's $1 billion a day business. Yeah, heart attack and stroke is $1 billion a day business. So it's very profitable for you to be dumb on this, right? Think about this. The Harvard study proves that. The Harvard study proves that. Push-ups, simple old free push-ups that have been going on since the beginning of the time, have done what no amount of research and technology has been able to do. You know how much years people been donating to heart research to figure out how to end heart? Yeah. Huh? 96% reduction? Free? Come on now. Wakey, wakey. Okay, so a part of the scientific timeline, we get this, right? We get the substitution of actual vitamins for fake vitamins, right? So you might think that you're getting nutrition when you're supplementing, but you're probably not, right? You're probably not, right? So when I put up the video about aquamation and they showed the calcium phosphate from bones, and people are like, oh, they wouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. I'm like, they've been doing this. They've been doing this. Most of the vitamin A that you're getting is not going to help your eyes. That's why people is buying a lot of vitamin A, but they still going blind, because most of the vitamins are left over from the oil business, right? So vitamin A, a lot of it comes from refined oils, petroleum esters, benzene, methanol, right? This is what you're buying, especially you folks that like to save money. Especially you folks that like to save money, right? You got expensive outfit on, but Inky, yo, these herbs, these kind of pricey, it's, hold on, my man got the sea moss. No, he got a jar of sea moss like your sea moss. I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. He got a jar of sea moss he's selling you, but it ain't like my sea moss. Or whatever you're saying. Either way, the sea moss is $20 though. Yours is like $60. I don't know. Okay, well, get that one. Get that then. Just stop watching my content though, because if you watching my videos and then you try to go get the knockoff bootleg product, you're going to be mad after a while because none of the stuff that we're talking about is going to happen for you. The benefits ain't going to be there. You're going to think I'm scamming. No, you scammed yourself by watching my video and then going to get the knockoff products. See, that's what happened to you. So you need to learn about what's in these knockoffs, right? So the vitamin B1 comes from coal tar, right? I want y'all to see these things, right? B2 from genetically modified fungus. B3, tobacco, ammonia, and acid. Yeah. So you think you're getting NAD, but you're not. Right? Oh, Inky, yours, when I get that stuff from you, I feel that tingle all over. I don't like that. When I get the one from Amazon, I don't feel that. Right, because you're just buying tobacco and ammonia. Yeah. You think you're getting vitamin B5, you're really getting formaldehyde. You see? This is what's actually happening, right? The B6, formaldehyde. The B8, sulfuric acid and calcium hydroxide. B12, cyanide. We done spent a lot of time talking about the difference between cyanocobalamin, hydroxycobalamine, and methylcobalamin, like the different types of B12 that's out there. But the cheap one, the cyanocobalamin, which you get $5 anywhere, yeah, that's made from cyanide and fungus. That's a mixture of cyanide and fungus, right? And don't let nobody tell you, oh, no, this is safe. They say this is safe, Inky. So you just making up stuff. This is safe. We look it up online. They said this is safe. Okay, but let me explain to you what they're not going to tell you, why it's safe, right? The reason why it's safe is because you have, I don't know, it's some obscene number of cells in your body, right? And in the trillions, you got trillions of cells in your body. Each one of those cells has, on average, 1,500 or more mitochondria in it. So if you multiply 1,500 times trillions of cells, you have Googles of mitochondria. And cyanide kills mitochondria. Why? This is how you give people cyanide poison, they die. It's because you give them enough dosage where it kills off the mitochondria and you can't breathe. Like the oxygen just stops. So what they saying with the B12, the cyanocobalamin, is that the cyanide that you're getting is in such a low amount that the mitochondria that die from ingesting that B12 is not going to be noticeable because you got so many mitochondria. And after those ones die, your body just replace them like that. Boom, you're good. Problem with that, I don't want any of my mitochondria to die from cyanide. That's just me. I don't want to pay to purchase cyanide to take it myself. That's another thing. But people who have their metabolism compromised and that don't exercise, you don't have the same reproduction of mitochondria as everybody else. Mitochondrial biogenesis, which means how your body makes more mitochondria, that's stimulated from exercise, particularly isometrics and calisthenics, which is the reason why, but yeah. So if you already live in a sedentary lifestyle and you pop in this, cyanide pills, Remember, I keep saying, y'all gotta put a higher value on yourself. If you don't put no money into the research of your body, right? If you're not willing to put up the money for the black and brown research of our bodies, who's gonna do that? White folks? Chinese folks? Why would they do that? Chinese folks got to put up money to research Chinese genetics. White folks putting up money to study white genetics. We throwing our money into the air in the strip club. That's what we think studying black genetics is. Looking at booties bouncing. Ooh, look at the genetics. She healthy. That's that cornbread right there. That cornbread. I'm telling you, boy, that's that cornbread and potato salad right there. See, we think that's studying black genetics. That's why we dying so fast. That's why it's a scientific joke that the black people have the best genetics on the planet, but they dying the fastest from metabolic diseases. Yeah, because we just don't care enough. And then we come to a setting like this in the online community, and you're so distracted with all of the people that are hustling that you don't know that there's only Inky providing the real research. Everybody else is just repackaging my information after I drop it. Yeah. After today's information, in the next coming weeks, it's going to be a whole explosion of new information about this thing here. That's how it goes. When you come here, you get it uncut raw first. Yeah. So again, you don't want to be buying the knockoff Blue Magics, not the fake sea mosses or the fake batanas, and definitely not the fake Mama Atomics. Yeah. I could go down a list of names of people that y'all know that tried to duplicate Mama Atomics. Anyway, PABA comes from coal tar, ammonia, choline, tartric acid, and ammonia. Vitamin C, guess what, people? Most of the vitamin C you buying is sugar. So when they telling you it helps for diabetics to take vitamin C, and then you go buy the cheap vitamin C, you're killing yourself because you're actually buying sugar pills. You don't know it. You don't know it, but you're getting hydrogenated sugar processed with that stinky stuff that you smell in the nail salon. You know that smell when you go in the nail salon and all of the Asian people that work in the nail salon, they know that that's a poisonous thing. So they got on a face thing like this, but they tell you, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Look, you in there with your baby in the carriage and all that, and they walking around with face mask on, and you like, what's that smell? You're like, oh, no, don't worry about it. It's cool. What? So you should be wearing a face mask, but me and my baby is cool. We can smell this. We could just, yeah. See, if you don't know no better, anybody could tell you anything. Now, mind you, the people that have my book, Eat Right for Your Haplotype, y'all know that this is information from the book, right? Vitamin D comes from irradiated animal fat. Your vitamin D, when you're getting that fake vitamin D, irradiated animal fat. That vitamin D2 comes from rotten plants. So when they put the salads and the greens in the supermarket, right? And they put it on the shelf, right? What happens if it goes bad and they don't sell it? Well, some of that stuff, some supermarkets responsible, they'll just put it out back or whatever. Let the homeless folks grab it or whatever they do, let go in the garbage. But some places, they ship it back. And they take those old greens that's moldy and all that, and one of the things they make out of it is vitamin D2. So a lot of times the vegan vitamin D is D2, and that comes from rotten plants. The D3, if it's not vegan, it comes from goat and sheep hair. The vitamin E. Now, if you're not getting Dr. Inky's unsaturated fat batana oil, and you getting vitamin E pills, especially the ladies out there. The ladies love to get vitamin E pills. They go to the hair salon. They're like, oh, yeah, get these vitamin E pills. That comes from GMO corn. They're refining that from corn. Right? Yeah, they get that from corn. So in the process of them making the high fructose corn syrup, yeah, they take the vitamin E out of it and sell it to you they treat it and then sell it to you in a pill form as vitamin E. Vitamin H, yeast and fungus. Vitamin K from coal tar, right? So, yeah. Anyway, this is all in the Eat Right for Your Haplotype book. Now, this morning, somebody sent me a news thing. Somebody sent me a news thing on Instagram of some white folks, obviously, and they're talking about the artificial colors in the food and all that. And they sent it to me as if it was deep. Like, oh, yo, Ink, you, man, you got to talk about this. I'm like, what do you mean I got to talk about this? This is in the Eat Right for Your Haplotype book. You need to buy the books and watch my videos. Y'all keep watching these other folks like, y'all always going to be behind. Years, damn near a decade behind watching. Y'all are confused. Well, anyway, I said, let me go ahead and grab a couple of them slides and drop it in the book. Right. So here, and this will be in the PDF. So here we went through the studies where they showed that the different dyes, what they do, right? And just to show you a few, right? Blue number 1, right? Blue number 1, kidney tumors, right? Blue number 2, brain and bladder tumors. Citrus red number 2, bladder and other tumors. Green number 3. Now, these are all from the test. Look at this, thyroid tumors, red number 3. All right. This one here, reticuloendothelial tumors. That's red number 40. And now look at yellow number 5 and number 6. Genotoxicity and hyperactivity in children. Possible adrenal and testicular tumors. This is why yellow number 5 and number 6 is illegal in some other countries, but here in America, it's still, But anyway, yeah. So this information is not new to me or the people that follow or support over here. This is old information, right? So, but it was important, I guess, because people need to see it. But then also, I need you guys to understand what came out of this science, right? What came out of this science. And like I said, you'll have this in the PDF, but these are things that's important to know. In 1901, Frederick Gates, hint, hint, wink, wink. Frederick Gates designed the Rockefeller Institute for Medical Research. Reverend Gates' father was a doctor, and John D. Rockefeller was selling snake oil, right? They were selling these oil residues as medicine. The same oil residues I showed you, they still selling as vitamins and all that, right? What else you got going on? 1900, Carl Landsteiner discovers the blood types, right? Now, let's destroy this myth forever, right? Please stop asking me about the book Eat Right for Your Blood Type. The book, the science, all of that is gobbledygook. Carl Landsteiner discovered the blood types. The term that you know of today as antigen, antigen is what distinguishes the blood types, was originally heterogenetic antigens. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. The original term was heterogenetic antigens, meaning hybrid or one species that came from another. Heterogenetic antigens mean hybrid or one species that was born from another. So there is no way in the universe that Carl Lance, like science would not, that's just a pure hustle, pure gobbledygook. Okay, pure hustle. But anyway, you'll have that, right? You'll have that. So back to work. So Harvard, right? Harvard, that was quick. We did that fast. And then when you get the free book, you could take your time and go through the stuff and pick it apart, do your thing. Harvard, 40 push-ups in less than a minute. 96% less risk for cardiovascular disease. Crazy. So my question is, how is something free and easy able to do what these folks could not do? Look at this place here. Look at this place. Look at this place right here. Just take a look at this complex. Now, if you like me, you probably been struggling with your bills. If not right now, at least before in your life. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm just transparent with it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't already a millionaire or billionaire, you struggling sometime to, rob Paul, rob Peter to pay Paul. Yeah. Look at this complex. This is just one of the places where they doing heart research. So this is what the heart research money has went to, building up amazing facilities like this. And nothing has come out of these facilities at all useful to the people that can duplicate these results. Nothing out of these trillion-dollar facilities can duplicate 96% reduction in cardiovascular disease. In fact, the best thing that these places have done is put together studies of push-ups. Oh my goodness. Yeah, to study people like me. You know what? Y'all probably should just be following that Dr. Inky program, just because that's really powerful. Yeah, we didn't made trillions of dollars, and that's what we came up with. Yeah, them herbs and them push-ups. You probably want to just go ahead and do that. Yeah. Now, the bodybuilders. The bodybuilders do not have this experience. So I know some of y'all like, oh yeah, I work out every day. Yeah, but if you're not doing the isometrics and calisthenics, you still have, in fact, you have an elevated risk of cardiovascular disease. If you're doing the weights and you're not doing the isometrics, the calisthenics, and the stretching, you actually have an elevated risk. Right? So, yeah, we're going to go back here for a second. Yo, this is the craziest thing ever. Men are literally losing their Y chromosomes. And I'm not talking about in alternate generations later on and all that. I'm talking about right now. As you're going from your 20s to your 30s to your 40s, you're losing your Y chromosome. As you lose the Y chromosome, literally the thing that makes you a man, your risk for heart disease goes up. Now, the main causes are tobacco use and diabetes and stress. How does it work? Well, stress actually works indirectly by neutralizing the male hormones. But tobacco and diabetes both work directly by literally destroying the Y chromosome. Period. Getting the Y chromosome up out of there. Now, Harvard has done a study to show that if you can do more than 40 push-ups, 40 push-ups in less than a minute, you have a 96% reduction in your chances for cardiovascular disease. Now, come on. This is free. You ain't got to go to a gym. This is just too easy. 96% chance. If you don't want to live for yourself, live for your kids. Think about it. You don't want to lie to your son when he's saying, let's go to the park and play basketball, and you know you ain't got nothing else to do. You can go play basketball with that boy, but you don't want to go out there because you know you're going to be embarrassed. You need a timeout after 2 baskets. Now, what kind of daddy need a timeout after 2 baskets? So listen, help me to help you. Help me to help you. That's all I'm saying. Help me help you. Blue Magic Heart Challenge. Period. Right? Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3 easy. Now, all the steroids you need, your body can produce with a little mass like this. Little mass like this. This is not for no, for a pandemic or nothing like that. But you just add this to your push-ups. And this is just a cheat code. You don't have to. You don't have to add nothing. No supplements, no nothing. Just the push-ups by itself does the magic. But we're going to talk about things you can do today to accentuate what it is that you're doing. Right? This right here basically has gauges. I don't know if they all like that, but they sell these for endurance. But what they actually do is it restricts the amount of oxygen you get into your body. When you restrict the amount of oxygen you get, it sends a signal to your brain to produce more EPO. EPO is the mother of all steroids in your body. EPO is the mother of all steroids because it automatically tells your body, flood the body with more EPO. Your body then makes more red blood cells. More red blood cells flood the muscles. More creatine, more ATP, more energy, faster recovery. When you get more energy, faster recovery, you activate the fast twitch and the slow twitch muscles together. They start firing. You get more lactic acid build up. So now you get more signals to the pituitary to release more growth hormone, testosterone, all that kind of stuff. And these things, when I bought this, I got this, it was expensive because this is old. I had this for years. So I think I paid like $70 for mine, $80. But now they online for like $30. You know what I'm saying? Or you can find them cheaper. I wouldn't find them too cheap though. You want to get a decent one, like $40, $50 would be a good price. But you produce all the steroids you need. Right? That's what we're here doing with these isometrics and calisthenics. See, that's the whole thing. You don't need the drugs to get high. You could get yourself high. You could produce your own cannabinoids and opioids. Yeah. You could control your own mental health. Right? You could produce your own steroids. So, again, before we move on, the problem is not weights. I don't want nobody thinking I'm going in on the weights of the bodybuilders. I got mad weights in my basement. And after I get myself back in better condition, I will be lifting them. Right? But it's the weights without isometrics and calisthenics. Right? You have to have that component. Right? And of course, it wouldn't be Dr. Inky if I didn't show you that we was doing these calisthenics and isometrics 5,000 years ago. So don't let nobody tell you that this stuff started in Greece. It did not. It didn't start in Rome. It didn't start with the Spartans. It didn't start with 300. Right? I'm just saying.
When I say I do it for the culture, I'm that nigga. No bigs. On the run in. Raising your kids. Raising mine too to shine through the bullshit that blind you. Your wife be a dime too. You better pay attention before I do. I'm just saying. While you in the studio trying to be a street boss, I might pull up on your lady with some books and some CMOS. Give her some dictation. She unmasked. Ain't no levels yet. And I'm a great teacher. She gonna take notes like a treble clef. I give street niggas some conscious niggas some street. They teach them all how to eat, all on one beat. Get it? They working in unity now. The God of entendre, there's nothing they can do with me now. The God that y'all sponsors, the rep the community now. We got chemistry fluidly now. It's cool to be cool with me now. You a new jack, my blade sharp, I wield it greatly. How is Johnny come lately qualified to rape me or hate me? In attempts to debate me, disrespect won't persuade me. When it come to this, I'm Jay-Z, data transmission, Bill Gatesy. Ain't no tricks, you still lazy. I'm up before the roosters. Calming down shooters, rolling Buddhas with boosters. I'm with social media comedians, doing media. I'm like Eddie Murphy, raw, preaching the encyclopedia. This gon' hit like the media. Architect laid the blueprint. It's nothing you can do, pimp. I'm posted like the newsprint. Read it and weep. You was fleecing the shit. I'm the goat that eat wolves. You nutrition to me. My electromagnetic signature is brilliant to see. Sound becoming light is religion to me. A vision to see. Ain't no poor righteous teacher shit. We get money quick as the street. What you think is going on, boy? My kids gotta eat. We was flipping thoughts when you didn't know nothing. Way before tax set the tone with your buddy. You just gotta have the nutrients. So are you gonna pay $1,000 to have this nutrient profile circulating in your blood? Or you gonna pay $65 and you get all these herbs and the vegan vitamin D3, the harmine for your pancreas, the seaweeds from the cold water, and your mama time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are black balls. That's just my ode. That's just my ode to the platforms that kicked me off. I just, you know, they know who they are. Right? But support Mr. Blackball at AmericanHealer.website. Get that luxury sea moss from the world's first ever mossier. Right? Now, the actual game of push-ups, the game of push-ups. And this is just a reminder. We're going to go through this a few times, so don't get antsy. We're not at the end. We just beginning. We just getting started. We just warming up. Y'all know how we do this. A masterclass. We just getting started. Right? But aim for 100 push-ups a day. Now, During this contest, people, I want y'all to understand this. Half push-ups, shaky push-ups, bad form push-ups, like all of those are acceptable. Okay? Using your knees are acceptable. Whatever you need to do to get through these push-ups is acceptable. Right? The first thing that we need to build up is people's mindset. A lot of people think that they can't do push-ups. So restricting them with this form or this way or that way, no. Just get down and get used to going through the motions. Just get used to going through the motions and build consistency with going through the motions. That's the first phase. That's the first level. Then, as you get better, as you get stronger, your form will start to work itself out. And then, as you participate, right? That means that you, first of all, that means that you following Dr. Inky on Instagram, right? Because you can't fully be participating unless you text my phone. There's a lot of people out there like, no, I'm doing the push-ups. I'm like, how? You're not even texting my phone. So that means you're not getting the text messages from me and you're not going on to the Instagram page to see what everybody else doing, right? So no, you got to text my phone, 586-298-5000. So that I got you locked in, and as you do them and you get stronger, you're going to see other people doing them and you be like, ooh, okay. So a part of me, everybody that's doing this, you'll notice that I ask permission if I could post your picture or your video on my Instagram page. If you're not comfortable with it, I don't just take your picture and post it, right? I get everybody's permission to post their stuff. I don't want people to feel uncomfortable. But a part of you sending me the pictures and the video is A, so I can hold you accountable and know that you're doing them every day, right? But B, because you're going to have documentation of yourself. You're going to be able to look at yourself as time goes by. Like, think about it. We got a weekend. So some people, high level athletes, 700 push-ups, that ain't nothing. But for John Q. Public, oh my God. I got people hitting me up like, yo, I'm in tears. I can't believe I did 700 push-ups. Yo, I can't believe people hit me Friday. Yo, we did 500 push-ups already. Yo, this is crazy. I can't believe I did. So you have a record of what you've been doing and how you look doing them. So you can see yourself. And then I have people participating at every level. So there's people that can already do 50 push-ups straight or 100 straight or whatever the case may be. So now you can see these people with perfect form. Shout out to my guy, Edward. Edward is the Chinese guy, quote unquote, that's doing the challenge with us. And he's getting a lot of attention on my Instagram because he did one set on his fingers already. Then he did another set with diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ears to the Street. Ears to the Street did a set on knuckles. So you got people at all different levels doing all different types, so you'll be able to see them, and as people get stronger, they'll be able to switch up on their own and incorporate some other stuff into it. But for now, we not no judgment, zero judgment. As long as you're doing them, we in there. Right. So the aim, of course, is to fight diabetes and the manifestations of diabetes, which is heart disease and brain disease. Right. So, yes, it is a game. It is a game, people. This is a game we're playing. The Blue Magic Heart Challenge is a game. Like many other things in life, it is a game. Right? To be able to do 60 push-ups in 60 seconds is the master level. To be able to do 120 push-ups in 60 seconds is God level. Now, winners of this game get full control over their mind and body, as well as their epigenetics. This process allows one to form true bonds with their creator, right? Now, let's get to this feather, this shoot, right? Let's get to this. Now, if you're interested, if you want to get the hoodie, you want to get the hat or anything like it, or you just want to check it out, check out what we got over there. Go again to AmericanHealer.website. And when you get to the website, click the menu. And the first thing you're going to see is for the clothing line. Go over there. Shout out to Ezra, hard at work. Yeah, there's a ton of fantastic, like with the clothing line is crazy, right? But we want to start dressing and looking the way we think. So yeah, keep that in mind, right? So anyway, along with collagen fibers, fascia contains extracellular matrix and fibroblasts, which are cells that create extracellular matrix and collagen. Why is this important? This is everything that has to do with your heart. A lot of times we have these health conversations, and in order for people to feel like, to make you believe they're smart, they talk about cell. What's going on in the cell? Blah, 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 blah. What's going on inside your body outside of the cells, though? See, that is the conversation we need to have. That is the other part to the weighing of the heart ceremony. That's what we're going to get to right now, right? This is how advanced your ancestors was. And this is why, look, this is why I'm telling you to hustle. Now, I want y'all to know this hustle. The hustle went from all of that comedic science. Remember when I first started teaching, even your black scholars, they were saying that it's pseudo. This is made up. It's not real. Now what's happening? Guess what? Now that advanced technology is verifying all of these things I've been teaching, guess what all these governments is fighting to do now? Now they want to put their face on it. Especially the people who occupy Egypt right now. This is why they banned Kevin Hart, because Kevin Hart had a part of his comedy show he was going to do there where he talked about the people that live in Egypt not being the original Egyptians, and that the people, the Black Americans and blah. He had that incorporated in his. So don't think that people get to high level billionaire status like Kevin Hart and then they forget who they are, where they from. No. It's just not. You can't teach at that level. He tried to. He tried it. He had it snuck into his little comedy show. He was getting ready to go to Egypt and drop some fire over there and then broadcast it around the world. And they was like, you're not doing that here, champ. Nah, that's dead. In fact, we canceled the whole event. Refund him his money. We don't even need him to come over here, bro. Wow. What? Yeah. But anyway, back to work. Right? So the anatomy of the light body is based on this feather. The anatomy of the light body is based on the feather of Shu. Right? So here is the most famous scene. Right? And you got heart number 1. Let me show you heart number 1. Right? Most people see that. Bam, you got heart number 1, but then there's heart number 2. Right there. Right? That is heart number 2. Right? So a lot of times the weighing of the heart ceremony, because it's the weighing of the heart, that's the end of the conversation. Right? Especially when you talk to these fake comedic scholars that don't really know any science. So they can't tell you any science, nor can they see science in a picture because they don't know science. So nothing in the picture will trigger anything that they have in their mind or heart, pun intended, because they don't have anything there. They don't know biochemistry or neurochemistry. right? So they don't know the relativity of water to heart function and all these other things. Anyway, we over here though, right? The god of decay, Anubis, and this feather, right? This is your electric flesh. This feather is your electric flesh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is that point in the video where I get to say, go ahead and support the Cash App. Go ahead and support the Cash App. If you learn something today, definitely feel free to donate $50 if you have it. If you don't, drop 20. If you don't, drop 10. If you don't have 10, drop 5. If you don't have 5, drop a 1. If you don't have anything, I'll take a rain check. But if you learn something, you gotta support the research. If you learn something, you have to support the research so that we can keep this thing going. Right? Some of y'all already learned a few things. Some of y'all getting ready to learn right now. Okay? So just so we get before we move forward, just so we get an idea, this is the anatomy of a feather. Right? And I've been telling you guys for the longest that nature is simple. Nature finds things that works and this does that over and over. Yeah. If it works, just do that over and over. Yeah, if it works, just do that over and over. Appreciate the family out there. But if it works, just do that over and over. That's the simple way how nature just keeps things simple. Now, this is how your anatomy is designed. You have feathers. You have feathers. Like, oh, time to check out. Inky done went crazy. Now, the people that know, the people that know, they know when I say something crazy, is usually something that's well researched. So you don't want to jump out the window with the doc. That'd be bad for you. But that's what we have. We have water feathers. So that's the difference. And we don't actually have like bird feathers under our skin. No, we have a different type of feather designed with this same motif and geometry. This is why we spend so much time on geometry, right? And I would definitely have my Royal Arch Mason hat on, but anyway, we spend a lot of time on geometry and it's in the book. So blah, blah, blah. You got all that already. I'm not going to reiterate that stuff that you got from previous videos, right? But design for function. So when nature has a particular architecture or geometry that does a thing, it uses that and keeps using it. And so the feather is very important for electricity. The feather is highly electric, right? And so it is absolutely a part of your structure, right? This is how your collagen is built. This is how your collagen is built. Just like the feather, right? This is how your collagen is built. And this is what's inside your body. That's the big secret, or one of the big secrets. This is one of the big secrets, right? So again, you'll have this in the book where you can take it apart and look at it, break it down, debunk it, rebunk it, etc., right? You have your core protein, your core protein, which starts out in an actual feather as a calamus, right, and becomes your rachis, right, in your body is just a core protein. Then you have your barbs, right, and your barbules. Your barbules are the most important part of this conversation. That's these guys here, right? See, in a feather designed for flight, these are designed to give you that lift off. But in the body, this is where your body stores negative ions, electrons. This is one of the reasons why the onion was so used throughout the Kemetic pharmacopoeia, because you had all of the different sulfates there, And studying those papyri is, what put me 20, 30 years ahead of the learning curve in building a herbal compound. Well, you know it today as chemiluminescence, but back in the days when I first made it, the first name of it was Candida Cleanse. But when I put it together, it was designed around the NRF2 system. So the NRF2 system functions within the cell and throughout the rest of the body to facilitate that electric exchange. That winds up being the basis of how your cells and your body protects itself. You know what I'm saying? Refreshes itself. And you can kind of see it when you just look at like dead bodies, right? Dead bodies, they got all of the microbes and the little worms and the germs and, virus, bacteria, all that stuff. They kind of like eat the body. Well, what stops them from eating your body while you're alive? Because science tells us we have a microbiome inside of us, and we have microbes that coat the whole inside of our body and the outside of our body. Got little creepy crawlies. Why don't they eat us and turn us into soup the same way they do a cadaver or a dead body? The reason is that life force, that electromagnetism. That electromagnetism, that regenerative force keeps that from happening. When you separate yourself from that electromagnetic regenerative force, you start to lose the ability to regenerate your tissues. And when you have the inability to break down sugar, the sugar starts to coat the tissues all throughout the body. And when that happens, now those same microbes that were harmless in your body can give you various types of illnesses and all kinds of crazy shit, which is the reason why we had some nasty viruses ripped through, from Ebola to this one to that one, whatever. But none of them kills everybody they infect, right? Why? Say, oh, we don't know. Some people just immune to it. Is whatever. Yeah, what does that mean though? What does that mean? Yeah, see, these are the questions you need to ask, right? Anyway, so that's what this is. It's not just magnetism and electricity. It is the spirit versus the physical flesh. And the physical flesh is composed of these feather-like, they don't even have a name for these. They don't even have a name like for these, but these are the units of your fascia. So your fascia, right? Or the extracellular matrix is made up of these feathers. This is why it was so important. This is why I made it to the way into the heart ceremony. This is why the gods have this on their heads. Right? Hold on, let me pull up something for y'all real quick. Let me find this for y'all real quick. think it's a good, I should have this here. Give me 1 second. Put that in there. And where is my Y scepter? Is that not in this one? Yeah, so y'all can look at that while I'm looking for this. Bam. Here we go. Okay. So, just so you understand, right? Everything in the kinetic science was based on biochemistry and neurochemistry. But none of these fake kinetic scholars can tell you none of this because they don't study biochemistry and neurochemistry. They only study history. They don't study neurochemistry, biochemistry, right? Or you would know this is where the shin, the ankh, and the wa scepter comes from. The ankh from the circle of Willis, the shin comes from your histone with all your genetic history in it. That's why they tell you the shin is where your name will live forever. Yeah, because it's passed down in your DNA. Yeah, that's how that goes, right? The wa scepter is your aorta, right? The aya heru. The aya heru is the third ventricle in the brain, right? So now you got the third ventricle in the brain as your aya heru. You got your wa scepter. You got your shin identified. And not only is the shin, hold on, let me double this so I can mess with this a little bit. Not only is the shin identified for you as your histone complex, right? But inside the shin, you have what? The kamenu, or put all the names that you might be familiar with, the ogdode or the enid, right? All of that will be right in there. Let's blow that up a little bit. And yes, I'm literally making these slides while y'all watching. Yeah. Boom. Right? So when you hear the comedic story of the 8 twins, maybe I should put a better picture for y'all. I know some of y'all might not be familiar. The 4 sets of twins, rather. The 4 sets of twins. Yeah, you got 4 sets of twins. And those 4 sets of twins in the comedic story give birth to, not only give birth to, but control all of life, right? And you actually have those 4 sets of twins here inside your histone. That's what your histones are, 4 sets of twins. And now in the Ogdode story, or the story of the Kamenu, you got 4 sets of twins, but in the Enid story, you have 9. So you have 4 sets of twins, and then you have what? You have the hidden one. So in your genetics, you also have that hidden one, right? The hidden one, the H1 histone, right? As you look here, that's H2B, H2A, H4, H3. And then you have the hidden one, or the H1 histone, which is the one that binds them all together, right? So all of this kinetic science is literally biochemistry and neurochemistry, right? So we're adding the shut to the family today. We're adding the shut to the family today, right? So this is why all of these pictures be fake. So when y'all hear me just ranting and raving like, yo, that's fake, that's fake, that's fake, that's not real, it's because I spend thousands of dollars and thousands of hours studying the real, right? When you see these pictures, because these is the type of pictures you see online. This is 90% of what you see online. These pictures is fake because they don't show you the light body. They don't show you the electric body. They're not showing you the fascia. It's missing, right? You think your body look like this because you keep watching Google stuff. But this is really what it looked like. Now look on the left. See, this is an example of the Google pictures where you just see a clean heart right there. But real anatomy looks like this. Everything is coated with fascia, right? That's these structures. This fascia that's coating all this stuff is made out of these feathers like I'm showing you. And it's important to understand because this is how I put together the blue magic gel. So again, they can't duplicate this blue magic gel because they don't even know this science. How's somebody going to be able to duplicate the formula and they don't know the science that the formula is based on? Let me ask y'all that question again. How can somebody duplicate the formula when they don't know the science? Oh, yeah, I think that's not a real question. That's a real question. How can somebody duplicate the formula when they don't know the science that the formula is based on?
It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, you heard?
Yeah. That's all. That's all. This is just a large order of facts with a little bit of truth sprinkled on top. That's all. That's all. And for an extra cash app, I'll sprinkle you. If you want extra, you know how you get your smoothie? You'd be like, hold on, I want some extra protein in there. If you want some extra truth sprinkled on your facts, if you want some extra truth sprinkled on your facts. Exactly. Exactly. Come on. It's impossible. Come on now. Yeah. Come on now. Yeah. See, that's all. It's just facts. It's just an extra little bit of truth sprinkled onto the facts. And y'all know who the person and people is out there with fake Blue Magic whole websites, bluemagic.com. That is not Dr. Inky affiliated at all. This is what your real anatomy looks like. Way different than what you showed on Google. Way different than what you showed on Google. Why? Because if you start to look at your anatomy looking like this, oh, we'll have a whole nother conversation when it comes to this. See, y'all thinking this yeah, we gonna get to this because we got to get to this Albert Einstein shit and all that too. We're gonna get to it. right? We're going to get to it, right? But when you start looking at your anatomy like this, you start to understand the heart in a whole different way. It's not about just, pushing blood. It's not about pushing blood. It's way different. That's the reason why every exercise benefits the heart. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You score. Every time you come up with that push-up, that's a score. You get points. Yeah, it's the push-up game. You scoring points every time. Wait a minute. We had to start that again. I hope y'all notice that it's information that y'all supposed to be getting right there. Every push-up, I need you to know that all this is happening inside your body. Every push-up, you're boosting testosterone, growth hormone, glucagon, epinephrine, EPO, and you're lowering your myostatin. Every push-up. Think about that. Every push-up, you're doing all that for free. Yeah. Every push-up. Now, that's just for the muscles. This is for the skeleton. Parathyroid hormone, BDNF, calcitriol, calcitonin, thyroid hormone. All this is to build up the skeleton, right? Every push-up, this happening. Every push-up. The nervous system, you're boosting DHT, growth hormone, GABA. GABA produce insulin. Serotonin, IGF-1, dopamine, cannabinoids, opioids, all that just with push-ups. Lymphatic system, you're boosting melanocyte and white blood cell activity, lymphatic circulation, plasma production, pathogen flushing. Yeah, pathogen flushing. Yeah, your body flushes pathogens through the lymphatic system. And of course, circulation, collateral vessels. Yeah, your body does its own surgeries while you exercise. I'm going to say that again. Your body does its own blood surgeries, collateral vessels, while you exercise. So, closer up. This is how it works. And if you notice, the antennas and all that built from the same geometry to attract what? The electromagnetic waves in the sky. Same thing is built off your body. All technology come out the body. Anyway, that's what these things here do. You build up the negative ions and the electrons all stored up in these feathers, right? The feathers is made from chondroitin, right? Chondroitin sulfate, right? And keratin sulfate, right? But if you have sugar in the body that you can't metabolize, it's going to crystallize all this fascia. And this is where you're going to start getting those random joint pains, especially your shoulders, your elbows, your knees, that they tell you is old age. It ain't got nothing to do with old age. It got nothing to do with old age. It got everything to do with you don't know how your body works. That's all it is. Right? Now, we can't go through this without discussing the blue magic, but why they hate so hard on Dr. Inky. Tell you why they hate so hard on Dr. Inky. Because they're running around selling you $1,000 and $2,000 packages of the same thing that you can get for $65. See, you can't compare the blue magic to other sea mosses. What you got to do is compare the blue magic to these $1,000 and $1,500 packages of herbs they're selling you. When you understand that concept, then you will realize that what you're getting is a steal for $65. You're stealing it for $65. You making a. This is why they don't want me to talk nowhere. Because if I talk somewhere and I explain to you, all right, so talk to you about what you got, Inc. If you notice, I go on these platforms, I never mention my products, because as soon as I do that, all hell breaks loose. I'll be like, oh, well, you know, the stuff they selling you, you know, all these Dr. Sabi herbs, they selling you for $1,500 a package. Yeah, all these here. The black walnut, the bladderwrack, the blue vervain, the burdock, the cactus, the cascada sagrada, the chamomile, the chaparral, contribo, damiana, dandelion, elderberry, ombre grande, all these, the kala wala, all this right here. Yeah. Y'all probably never even paid attention to look at that thing up close. All that's in the blue magic. So yeah, of course they don't want you to know about this in detail. That's why they're making the knockoffs. Because you can't even put all these herbs together without taking time, because some of these herbs would neutralize other ones. So you gotta know what you're doing. And it takes time. I gotta make multiple different pots, literally, and then blend them together real slow before I can even bring them together in the moss, or they'll destroy the moss. So it's a real fragile process to even mix this stuff all up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they don't want you to know about this. So you cannot fall for the knockoffs.
Blue magic.
Tell them again, ha. They might not understand.
Blue magic.
See, even Ha Davis. When I say in my song, when I say I'm with social media comedians, when I'm not making up, I don't make up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm from a different place.
Blue magic.
Now, why is this important? Again, we're going to go back to this anatomy and drill us home. Because all of your body is connected on the inside. Everything is connected. So when you're doing these push-ups and then you're working these surface area muscles, right? They showing you these muscles that you're working on the surface. Well, what they're not telling you, because they don't know, is that all of these muscles are attached to bones. The bones and the muscles is attached to the fascia. As you activate these muscles, you're also pulling and activating and tugging on the fascia directly beneath the muscle and the bones. See that? They always show you these fake images where there's no fascia, right? Even this, they'll show you the outer muscle. They'll show you the skeletal muscle, but they're not getting ready to show you nothing else, right? So you see the left pectoralis major, right? And you got a lot of people that done memorized all these different names, all this Latin. So they feel like they deep, right? Your deltoid. But none of that's what's really important. And that's what the martial arts really centered on. That's why they had knee dan and way dan, right? The knee dan and the way dan. You had the external muscle and then the internal muscle. And they understood that you could work the internal muscle, which is the smooth muscles, the organs, by working the external muscle. But you had to do it in a gradual fashion, and it had to be combined with the breathing patterns. They already knew what was going on. They was combining the two things you could control to control the thing that you can't control, right? You could control your external muscle. You could control your breath, right? If you control and synchronize the breath with the external muscle, now you can control the heart, right? But see, look at this. When they show you under the pectoralis, it's empty. That's not real, right? Because now we know it's not empty under there, right? It's not empty under there. You got all that fascia. First of all, you got the fascia on top of the muscles, so you don't get to see no bright red muscles like that. And then under that, and only surgeons really learn about this. But again, surgeons and them folks, those is the people that y'all blaming, like y'all saying Masons. No, it's not Masons. Remember, I don't never want to hear nobody that follows Dr. Inky saying, no, Masons is keeping nothing secret, because I'm a Mason and I'm sharing with you everything that nobody else is. The surgeons are assigned to, the surgeons is keeping secrets. The medical doctors keeping secrets. They sign oaths of secrecy to keep the real stuff from you. The pharmacists, they sign oaths of secrecy to keep the real shit from you. Not me, not your naturopathic doctors. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of naturopathic doctors don't know this part because they don't go that far. They'll go to herbs, acupuncture, acupressure, shit like that, but they won't go as far as to get into the MCAT stuff and the functional anatomy. Right? So, yeah. So again, big difference between what you're showed and what actually exists. Now, I know some of y'all like, wait a minute, Doc. On the first one, you had the iron, and now you got the selenium on this one. The iron is because our iron is built from a specific set of plants to not only boost the iron levels, but also the magnetism. And that magnetism goes beyond just the circulatory system. The selenium is for the immune support, but the selenium works inside the plasma. And the plasma and the fascia is where we get into that that early term. Remember, I told y'all I want y'all to learn that term, thixotropic. Yeah, because that's how your body is made. So there's a very intimate relationship between your plasma and structured water, and then your plasma and the fascia in your body. And fascia has the weird alien-like ability to liquefy itself or harden itself depending on where it's at, what's going on, and what it needs to do. Fascia is crazy in your body. Fascia is crazy. Fascia is on some old alien technology-ish, like it's this other. Now, these defib pads. These defib pads is literally how the push-ups work in your body. That's why I keep showing this, right? These defib pads, they pump electricity into the body. They pump an electricity in the body to stimulate, not the heart directly, but the melanin. To stimulate the melanin, and the melanin will then, if possible, stimulate the pacemaker cells. Right? It's melanin that's controlling them pacemaker cells, right? So you need to know that when you do push-ups, the reason why push-ups specifically so effective on the heart is because literally your hands turn into those paddles and you're able to absorb that very subtle nano current from the earth and fill up the fascia. So hopefully it's starting to make sense to you guys. The fascia stores these electrons and negative ions. When you do your push-ups, you literally grounding yourself and you're filling up. Like they have lots of conversation about grounding barefoot on the ground. That's cool, but what about your hands? Your hands is made out of the same material as your feet, right? Same design, same function. Same design, same function, right? So this is why you see me, I like to do my push-ups outside. Doing them inside, cool too, but outside is the best. And if you could get into some grass or next to some water or sand, you're getting better and better and better with it, right? Yeah, see, you're scoring more and more points. As we go on, you notice we're getting better at doing push-ups. We're scoring more points. Yeah, push-ups getting easier. Look at that, smoother, a little bit faster. Yeah, same like you at home. As the weeks go by, they're going to get easier for you to do, faster for you to do them. Yeah, you're going to rack up more points. Yeah. Inky, what's that right there in the corner? That's the anabolic hormone health. Those is herbs that help your body produce all the anabolic hormone to help stimulate this process right here. And it's not just for men, it's also for women. So that way you get your uterus and your womb intact. Yeah. Because the rest of your body, as a woman, the rest of your body is supposed to be flooded with estrogen, but that womb got to have that testosterone down there. And when you flood the area where the testosterone is supposed to be with estrogen, that's how you get the fibroids and the cysts and all that. Okay. Very important for you guys to know. This technology, this science is old. The science is old. Listen to what I'm telling you. The science is old. Just you don't know. Everybody know except you. Everybody pimping it. The EKG machines, the MKG machines for the brain scan, all that's based on your skin being electrically conductive, right? Think about it. When they want to study the brain, they put electrodes onto the skin. Electrode goes on the skin. Even if you taking a lie detector test, what are they doing? They putting electrodes on the skin. And when they put the electrodes on the skin, what are they doing? They're measuring heart activity based on the electricity coming through your skin. Think about that. They're studying heart activity based on the electricity coming out of your skin. And they could put those electrodes anywhere, your legs, arms, back, chest, anywhere. And it's going to tell them by the electricity that's coming out of your skin what the heart is doing. How is the electricity from the heart getting throughout the skin? Because it's coming through the fascia. Your fascia is highly conductive. That's the electric body right there. Yeah, see, you don't need fake auras and chakras. Well, aura's not exactly fake, but you don't need fake chakras and all. This is the real what you need. You got to know this. Yeah. Now imagine if we as a people, we study Dr. Inky's information more than we study chakras. We would be way more millionaires and billionaires, and we'd be able to keep the money. Because the secret of allowing brown and black folks to become millionaires and billionaires in America is that none of them know how to keep it. The science of keeping your money is not investing your money into your slave owners. That's what folks, that's the brainwashing. I went to financial school. Trust me, I know. The brainwash is when you make your money, you got to invest it in order to keep it. You know, diversify your holdings. You got to put it in stocks and bonds and mutual funds. That way, wait a minute. Did you know that the stock, bonds, and mutual funds are the actual people that is trying to separate you from the wealth? Yeah. This is how you lose your money and start over again every generation. No, you got to invest it into your body. Invest it into your body, the science of your body, and build businesses and things based around that to secure your epigenetics into the future. Secure your epigenetics into the future. The most valuable thing on this earth is black stem cells. The most valuable thing on this earth is black stem cells. Yeah. All the billionaires and trillionaires, they trying to buy them, duplicate them, copy them, clone them. The most valuable thing, yeah. And you have the ability right now. You got trillions of them. Oh, you can do whatever you want with them. Yeah. You don't realize you already wealthy. Just being born as a brown or black person, you already wealthy as you can get. In real money. You might not have fiat. That go up and down. You could just turn your computer on and see what the money market's doing. The real wealth, oh, that don't go up and down. That's only going up and up, higher. The more dumber people are, the higher the value. Yeah. And I got to wrestle with folks to hit the Cash App. And y'all not understanding. If y'all knew what I was giving y'all, y'all be putting $10,000 in the Cash App. Each person. Like, oh my God. We got to protect Inky. Yeah. Static electricity is produced due to the friction between two substances. This friction is developed when substances are rubbed against each other. Hence, static electricity is also called frictional electricity. Epidermis varies in thickness throughout the body depending on mainly frictional forces. I'm going to read that again. Epidermis varies in thickness throughout the body depending on mainly frictional forces. What does that mean? Electricity is the reason why your skin is thicker on certain places, i.e., the hands and soles of the feet, because they're designed for the most friction, which means they're designed to absorb the most electricity. Yeah. Your bones are piezoelectric. So when you're doing these exercises, think about that. Your bones are piezoelectric. So not only are you absorbing electricity from the outside in, you're literally producing electricity from the inside of your body. And that all helps the process of structuring water, which creates those pools of free electrons in your body that we talked about with the Inky cycle, right? The pools of free electrons, that coherent domain in water. Now you know what your body's doing with that. Your body's storing that up. Yeah, your body's storing that up. Well, if you're making it, right? If you're making it. And some of us, we might not be making it, right? All right, but that's the whole purpose behind Mom Atomics. They're building up that marrow and electromagnetism, right? And that coherent domain feeds the melanin, which feeds the NAD, which is an electron carrier, right? Melanin, tyrosine, aromatic amino acid. NAD comes from tryptophan, which is why fructose is so deadly, because fructose of any kind blocks the body's ability to produce NAD because you can't metabolize tryptophan. That's how it makes the cancer and gets so crazy. Yeah. And the NAD is required to carry the electrons around to feed the. So NAD works as a deliverer from the pigment and the fascia to the DNA, the mitochondria, the sirtuins, the NRF2 system. All of them have to be supplied with these electrons and negative ions. That's what NAD carries. But the fructose from the liquor and the corn and some of them other things blocks your body from producing it. Yeah. It's just like these platforms that don't want me to be teaching this. Okay. Okay. So now you heard about, Gerald Pollack and the other racist scientists like Gerald Pollack that talk to you about hydrophilic and hydrophobic surfaces and structure in water, blah, blah, blah. But they never tell you that the pigment is hydrophilic and that's what it's doing in your body. They never tell you that part. They're just going to leave that out because that don't fit the agenda. But the science of hydrophobic and hydrophilic is how atoms come together. So when atoms come together, in a material, right, they bond with all the other atoms in the material, except for the atoms at the surface, right? The atoms at the surface of a material, they don't have other atoms in every direction. So at the top of those atoms, at the surface of the material, you have open bonding sites. This is what determines the surface energy of any material, no matter what it is. And that surface energy is what's going to determine whether something is hydrophobic or hydrophilic. The more energy, the more bonding sites it has, the more hydrophilic it's going to be. The water has more spaces to attach itself. The less energy it has, the more the water droplets will bead up. And if you've been following through this whole free book and conversation we've been having for the last 6 months, the water drop is the foundation of all the science in chemistry. Water, right? So again, you pump those negative ions into the hands, shoulders, back, and chest. Let's go. Count it up. Woo! Look how smooth them is. See? The slow, shaky form, speeding up. Ooh, look at that money going in the bank. That's money in the bank. That's money in the bank. Y'all got to share this video. Y'all got to share this video. Adhesive capsulitis. Adhesive capsulitis is the proof of what Dr. Inky is talking about with the sugar in your extracellular matrix or fascia, right? Adhesive capsulitis, and it happens in the shoulder because the bones in the shoulder are so sharp that any little tiny amount of sugar causes a whole lot of pain. Whereas you got a lot of others in the rest of your body, it takes longer for it to build up and be noticed. So adhesive capsulitis is known as frozen shoulder. It's literally when the sugar is all in the fascia. And that's where you get that pain from that they tell you at the hospital and the doctor, they don't know what that is. They know what that is. It's just more money, for you not to know what that is, right? So we helps to speed up your body breaking down sugar, right? By building up higher glucose tolerance factors. Anyway, but for your further research, right? These are all articles, and you can go ahead, like I said, you'll have this in the PDF, and you can go ahead, pull up all these articles and go deeper, right? Harmine. These are the herbs specifically that have the harmine. Obviously, purple phase has the highest amount of harmine in it. For the people that don't know, harmine is what regenerates the beta cells in the pancreas so that you get more insulin output, more glucose metabolism. Quick question. Why do you feel a heart attack in your arms? Right? Ain't that what they tell you? If you feel a sudden weirdness in your arm, especially your left arm, call a doctor immediately. Well, I tell you the reason for that pain in the arm is that nerves that carry signals from the heart to the brain, and those that do the same thing for the arm, both send their signals to the same brain cells. Why is that important? Because again, it reinforces the understanding that you're lacking. Your whole body is connected. Now, let's get over here to this Einstein theory and how this is important for you to understand your body. All of the know-it-alls, let me just clean this up a little bit while kind of talk. But all of the know-it-alls, they tell you, oh yeah, you know, I had the college degree. I know about this. Oh yeah, I know about the science now, because you know, ooh, okay. Well, if you know about the science, you would know that stars and planets do not sit on space, right? Because they use these pictures to explain to you geometry and relativity, but objects are in space. Listen to what I'm saying. Objects are in space. They're not on space. You understand? See, it's the same as looking at these same Google pictures of how they show you the heart, right? This is how it's supposed to look. This is more mathematically sound, right? That Earth, see, this is Earth on space. This is Earth in space. You see the difference between what I'm showing you? Earth on space, Earth in space. Why is that important? Because the lines of force are equally distributed around the whole planet. So every movement that your planet makes affects all of the lines of force around it. Just like your heart. When your heart moves, all of the fascia attached to it move. When your heart beats, it sends a ripple, a wave throughout the entirety of the whole body. And vice versa. When you do certain exercises, certain movements, or you hold certain postures, you're able to send that energy back to the heart. Your body is not empty. Look at this. This is a Caucasian male body cut in half, dissected, so you can see what the inside of a human body looks like. There is no empty space. There's no empty space, period. Everything is fascia. There's more fascia than anything else in your body. And I gotta shout out the sister that sent me this book, because I had this already. I had this already with the heart, but I didn't have this. She sent me a book that had this, and I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect picture for me to show folks what the body really looked like on the inside. It's all fascia. It's all this electric material. And this is why, again, when you come to the weighing of the heart, this one feather can symbolize your whole flesh, because most of your body is made of this geometry. Most of your body is made of this. And how do we know? I didn't just tell you. I'm showing you the real anatomy. The shit you got to pay $250,000. This is the shit you got to pay $250,000 to learn. You got to pay $250,000 to learn this shit. I'm just telling you to hit the cash app. Niggas like, oh, Inky asking for $50. Well, shit, nigga, go pay you $250,000 somewhere. I'm just saying. Yeah. This is what you got to pay the big bucks to learn. I'm showing it to you nice and simple. And then I'm showing you the which herbal compounds rebuild these structures. That's why we have the blue magic and the ocean stake put together meticulously to rebuild these structures. Yeah. So now you get an idea of why I keep showing this picture with the paddles. Because when you do them push-ups, that's what you're doing. And you're stimulating the melanin. Look, let me make sure I refresh your mind. This is a heart pacemaker cell being regulated by melanin. When they tell you they don't know what's regulating the pacemaker cells in the heart, remember that Dr. Inky showed you. I didn't just tell you, I showed you. Yo,
Hey, Rashid is with Griselda. Oh, it's that time to start robbing niggas now. If I jack for life for them cars, you know how he go.
Yeah, I didn't just tell you, I showed you, right? Earth is the plug. The Earth has an electric field of 130 volts a meter near the surface due to separation of charges between the Earth and the ionosphere. Now I'm going to say that last part again. Due to separation of charges between the Earth and the ionosphere, due to separation of charges. What is the process of structuring water? What is structuring water based on? Separation of charge. Separation of charge. When you go to aerospace school, when you go to school for aeronautics, you know what they teach you in school for aeronautics? They teach you that the water and the atmosphere is the same thing. That the air is just like rarefied water. Yeah, so it's one big water. It's just thick water and then less thick water. So the rules that apply to the air apply to the water, just is a lot more dense. So when they tell you that the Earth has 130 volts per meter of charge based on separation of charge, you have to understand the same thing is happening inside your body. Yeah. And when you're not connected to the Earth no more, it's not happening no more. This is why when you take fruit from a tree, the fruit starts to die immediately because the fruit is no longer connected to the tree, that's connected to the earth. When you pull vegetables out of the ground, they start to die because they're no longer connected to their roots, which are in the earth. When you take algae out of the water, it starts to turn yellow because it's no longer connected in the water and the rocks that's connected to the earth. When you put on shoes or rubber soles all the time, and you don't never, it's humans that have lived and died on this planet and never touched the soil before. I know, I'm born in New York. I'm telling you, if you listen, it was a thing for a while where men have sex with their shoes on. Like, listen, I'm trying to tell you. So you could forget about walking around barefoot outside. We thought that was like well, I ain't gonna say it. There's a different terminology that's no longer acceptable to use. But we didn't think going barefoot. We didn't even think sandals was appropriate for men. Like wearing sandals was considered other. Period. So you didn't even show your feet. This is why men's feet stink so bad. Yeah, because they always confined, and that's not natural. Your feet ain't designed to be in socks, in shoes, and you taking them off, and then you go in the shower, you get out the shower. As soon as you get out of the shower, you put on socks, and then you put on slippers or shoes on top of that. No, that little moisture is growing fungus. Yeah, you got to let your feet air off. Your feet designed to be connected to the earth. Yeah, so is your body. Yeah. So this is what you got to understand. All the nutrition comes from being attached to the earth. All life comes from being attached to the earth. You already got tricked out of position the moment you started to believe you wasn't supposed to be attached to the earth no more. Yeah. See? This is a more accurate depiction of us. This is how you need to think of us. We're plants that can move around. If you think of us as plants that can move around, like we're like the advanced technology of plants. That's what people are. We're the mobile phone of life. We're the cell phone. Whereas the other phones had to be on the wall stuck. That's the plants. They the old phones. We the new phones that you can have in your pocket, move around with. That's us. But we got to remember that we still a phone though. It's still a phone. You know, you're still a plant. You still need the earth, the light, and the water. You still have to get the natural light, that natural water, and the earth. And the reason why I had to go through and show you these timelines is because billions of dollars have been spent studying your body. So while you listening to goofballs on the internet, right? And these goofballs is telling you, oh, watch out for the Masons. You know, the Masons is doing this. And they even say the Masons, you know, the Masons are doing this. You don't realize you already locked in, goofy. They don't need to do no conspiracy to no, it already happened. You already late to the party. You need pure water, pure light from the sun and the earth. What did they do? They put rubber on the bottom of your feet. Got him. No earth. It's over. You're no longer connected to the earth. It's a wrap. And we're going to trap you off in little ghettos and cities where, like New York, there is no earth to connect to. It's all concrete. And in New York is the worst place because, like I said, if you go to a park, the park is not connected to the earth. So it's fake there. Under the park is the subway. Like you go to Central Park. Under Central Park is the subway. That ain't connected to no earth. If you in a park, if you in New York, you got to go at least to Van Cortlandt Park to really connect with the earth. That's the closest thing you could do. Everything else is a wrap. Or you got to go to the beaches in Brooklyn. If you're not at the beach in Brooklyn or Jones Beach or Van Cortlandt Park or something, you're not connected with no earth, champ. No Central Park or Francigo, like none of that ain't it. It's subway under that, right? So, yeah, the earth is gone. Now you're using from 9 to 5 throughout the day, you got to be at work or school. So you surrounded with synthetic light. The synthetic light killing you. Then you illegal. Remember, it's illegal to drink rainwater, which is the only pure water on earth, is this from the rain. That's illegal. If you try to collect rainwater, you're going to get arrested. That's a felony. So it's a felony to drink pure water. You can't get pure light unless you somehow find your way out of the rat race. And think about it, the rat race. Where do rats live? Underground, right? In caves and tunnels. Yeah, you living in a cave and a tunnel. You blocked from the light. And the earth, you already locked in. You don't even realize the prison you in. You locked out of the 3 essential things for your life. So it's not possible for you to be healthy. Listen to what I'm telling you. It's not possible for you to be healthy. How are you going to be healthy with no pure light, no pure water, and no connection with the earth? It's not possible. That's why they don't teach you about certain whole aspects of your anatomy. You don't know nothing about you watching all these Google pictures. Yeah, you don't know what you're doing. You're listening to other niggas on the internet, comedic scholars. Yeah, debate me. We're going to talk about comedic science. We'll debate comedic science. How? What's comedic science? None of them debates have no comedic science in them. They're debating comedic history. And history is perspective driven. Yeah. Perspectives. They're debating perspectives. So what does that mean? That means you're going in a circle of gobbledygook. That's not real information. Only science is the things that's going to be true 100 years from now, or 5,000 years prior, 10,000 years later. Science, those are the things that will remain. Everything else is perspectives. So you've invested thousands of dollars into watching debates of perspective. That's why the community hasn't gone anywhere, because it can't. What's the vehicle that's going to propel the online Black community from where they at to where they want to go? Perspectives? No, it's opinions. And this is the reason why you have so many scam artists, because people be in the conscious community for 5-10 years and they realize, oh, this ain't going nowhere. This is just a money grab. So I might as well get in there and grab me some money. So now you got people pretending to be herbalists, people pretending to be real estate people telling you that aliens are teaching them science of crypto so they can teach you what the aliens do. All kinds of goofball shit. Yeah. It's pure goofballery. Unfortunately. Yeah, I got to tell you the truth. I gotta tell you what's actually going on, family. These are just all facts. So here we have comparison of batteries to vegetables. Well, what you don't understand is the vegetables and the fruits and the algae is good, but none of it gives you the full benefit of actually connecting with the earth yourself, having pure water to drink yourself, right? Having natural light to bathe your body in daily. How many of you have ever been naked in the sun? Yeah. Going naked in the sun is also illegal. Bruh, I'm trying to tell you something. You better get your backyard and fence up your backyard and get you some privacy and figure you out. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just have another look. Let's have another look at that melanin working. And of course, the purple phase and the copper is what builds up the melanin in the body. So don't worry if it's not built up. Oh, you use the purple phase and that copper. Yeah, you're going to build it up.
Yo, A.A. Rashid is with Griselda. Oh, it's that time to start robbing niggas now. If I jack for life for them cars, you know how he go.
Yeah, see, these are these master classes. These are these master classes. Now, let's get into this Botana oil and vitamin E with the fake Blue Magic folks out there selling bootleg knockoff Blue Magic. Now, somebody asked me, he said, Inky, we know you came out with the name Blue Magic first. We watched them copy it and all that, and we seen all that. But what gives you the right to feel like you could use that name Blue Magic? Because that name Blue Magic came from the hustlers that was selling heroin in Harlem back in the days. Well, my dad was one of those hustlers selling heroin back in Harlem. My dad was a millionaire off of heroin. Yeah, a few times. I had the option to be one of these guys in the street. You know what I'm saying? And and you know, all that comes with it. But early on, you know, from my father's teachings, you know what I'm saying? He taught me the value of real wealth. Unfortunately, if you're not around money, you can't really, it's too blinding. Poverty is too blinding for you to understand what real wealth is. You got to actually be used to money to realize that how fiat it really is. Like learning this fiat on the internet is not the same as being surrounded with it and not having anything at the same time. So I went through that phase as a young kid where my dad had uber amounts of money, you know, to later on him not having that kind of money and my mom's being on drugs and going through that process of not, you know, all of those things and seeing the difference between how people treat you when you up and how people treat you when you down. And it's just fiat. You as a person, you didn't change. In fact, not having money increases your character. This is why the people in the online community be so fake, because they use information as a form of currency. And the smarter they think they are, the more, you know, the less they know how to behave themselves, put it that way. And because there's no physical repercussion, like there's nobody to beat their behind, you know, people just kind of get away with anything. Like they don't know how to treat people. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I never fully disconnect myself from my people in the street, because people in the street know how to treat people. People on the internet, they might be smart. They might have read a hell of a lot of books, but they don't know how to treat people. Yeah, that's a thing. And that is a nutrition. That is a nutrition. That's contributing to the overall mental illness that we have. Friendship and love, you need more than calcium or vitamin D. They understand this. This is why they can separate you, right? This is how the games evolved, right? So they started off with the games, right? Like Tetris, Pac-Man, stuff like that, right? And the games give you what? A high score. High score. Because the game actually gets you high. When you get a high score in a game, your brain releases dopamine just like you snorted coke or you shot some heroin. It's a high score. You get a high off of it. You literally get high off of playing the video game. And the more addictive the video game is, the more dopamine, the more opioids, the endorphins, the more cannabinoids, right? Dopamine, opioids, and cannabinoids your neurochemistry produces. You're not getting high off the coke or the heroin. When you take coke or heroin, it releases the opioids and things in your brain. But you can release those same chemicals naturally. This is why push-ups get so addictive. It's the craziest thing because push-ups, when you can't really do them good, they kind of hurt and you be sore, but you be like wanting to do it. And if you do it for a little while and like you try to go for a day without doing it, your body will feel weird as shit. And you're like, yo, what is that? Damn, I got to go to the gym. Or damn, I got to work out. My body don't feel right. You're going through withdrawal symptoms because you're addicted to the push-ups. Yeah. So they understood that when making these games, the video games designed to release these. So the video games evolved into social media. Social media is a video game. Likes and views is the high score. But it's beautiful because back in the days, the video games, they didn't fully control you because in video games, most of us, at least in my age group and older, I'm 45. So my age group and older, we remember arcades. We remember having to go to the candy store to play games. You know what I'm saying? Or the arcade to play games. And you playing the game, you locked in, you know, they got your mind, but you locked in with a crowd of people, real people. You know what I'm saying? It's real people that got next. You might be playing against somebody that's really right next to you. You know what I'm saying? All that, like Street Fighter. You elbowing him a little bit, or Mortal Kombat. You know, you really playing the game with people. You know, James Bond, 007 GoldenEye. 4 players. There's 4 of y'all at least playing the game. Like, but when they opened it up, now you could be alone. And you're getting your friendship, your love, you're connecting with people through the game. Because now you can play internet with anybody anywhere. So it gives you a false sense of connection, just like the social media and all that does. But it's controlling your opioid and dopamine releasing. Right? This is real. This is real stuff here. Right? So this is how the video game slowly evolved into social media. Remember, it's the same ones and zeros, the same binary code. But the first thing they needed to teach you so that you wouldn't understand what was happening is that binary is a social construct. Meanwhile, all these computers runs on binary code. Your biochemistry runs on a binary code. Your neurochemistry runs on a binary code. All of your cells are created male, female on a binary code. You have 2 strands of DNA, binary code. In that DNA, you got 4 bases, but they all combine in sets of 2s, binary code. So the only people that don't know the binary code is real is John Q. Public, the people that are susceptible to anything. So the reality is that the non-binary is the social construct. That is the thing you've been programmed with, courtesy of John Mooney and others, so that they could weaponize your sexuality against you, so that they could weaponize your body against you. That's why when you read textbooks, they leave water out. Water is listed as a waste product of cellular respiration. They leave melanin out. Melanin is listed as a waste product of dopaminergic neurons, and they leave fascia out completely. Fascia, you can only find fascia if you go talk to Chinese folks. That's why TCM is so successful. It's not because they're doing anything special. It's just because Chinese traditional medicine or traditional Chinese medicine anyway, they include the fascia. That's what they're doing. So while they got you looking for goofy chakras and all that, they know what they're doing. They're putting those needles into the fascia. That's what the needles are doing. The acupuncture is going into different spots on the fascia. And it's directly stimulating the brain and the heart through the skin. We're going to keep working. I know. Anyway, so the vitamin E, right? Vitamin E. Now you have different types of vitamin E, right? All of it is fat soluble. So where is it going to be found in nature? In fat. In fat, you have two different types of fat. You have saturated fat, right? Which is hydrogenated. It's loaded with hydrogen. And then you have unsaturated fat, meaning it's not loaded with hydrogen. That's what it means. Okay. Saturated fat is hydrogen loaded. Unsaturated fat is not loaded. That is the difference. That is the major difference. Now, GG is an essential building block for the production of CoQ10 and vitamin K and progesterone and testosterone, but most people don't know what this is. So here's another vocabulary word. Geranio. Yeah, I don't even want to pretend to know how to pronounce this word. But you're not going to get this in the saturated Batana oil that y'all buying, the fake blue magic. You're not going to get that in there. You're not going to get that in there. Because you're not going to get the same metabolism of the head of these fats, which is where the vitamin E, how it's delivered and how it's stored. And again, you can get this, break it down, free PDF, it'll be in there. Here's a breakdown of our Batana oil, literally the technical data sheet. Them guys selling you that other burned up saturated fat stuff, the fake Batana oil, the fake blue magic, they can't give you a technical data sheet on that. They can't give you a technical data sheet on that because it'll have too much carcinogens in it. Right? They can't give you one of these on that because it'll have too much carcinogens in there. Yeah. Now, let's get back to Kemet, right? Einstein, right? When we took a look at this, right? We took a look at this, right? But we're going to take a look at the origins of this, okay? This is where they got that from. This whole concept that they keep giving to Einstein and Isaac Newton and all that, this all comes from here. This comes from here, neath. This is what they didn't know what this was. So they translated, they thought this was an apple, right? So this is where they get this story from. But this is the fish that make up the electromagnetic net of life. Yeah, this is where the holy divine fish story comes from. Yeah. So we can go all the way back as far as, yeah. In Kemet, they teach that the body, not just the universe, but that the body was made up of a net of these fish. And that Neith, the goddess, weaves them together. Right? So again, y'all gotta stop telling me all of that gobbledygook about string theory, disturbance, and this and that and the other. All of that is thief talk. All of that is gobbledygook. The supersymmetry, all that comes from your ancestors. So if you're not studying them, you ain't going to be able to study. You ain't going to be able to understand nothing else. Right? You ain't going to be able to understand nothing else. So these fish come together, these individual units, they come together that you see underneath head. Right? You see one over here, and you see one sideways over here, and make up the net of life, which is electromagnetism. This is the binary coding that you come from, that your body's made out of. When you step outside of that, it is certain death. Because you live outside of this binary code now, the pharmaceutical companies are making obscene amounts of money. Think about it. Just from heart disease and stroke alone, they're making $1 billion a day. Because you don't understand that this is nature. Yeah, this is nature, right? You don't understand that they're playing. This is a game, right? This is a game. Think about this. Ask yourself. See, y'all too conscious to know this. Y'all too conscious to know this, right? I'm sure y'all might have heard in a rap song or on the internet, gang members refer to killing the ops as catching a point. Yeah, let him come through. I'm about to catch that point. Yeah, I'm going to catch that point because it is a game. Life is not a simulation. That's a trick. That's not real. But it is a game designed for you to lose, which is why there literally is a point system. It's literally a point system. Yeah. Ask anybody that knows about crime and all that. They'll tell you. Criminal convictions give a score sheet. You get points for crimes. You're sentenced based on your points.
Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made
Too
me.
late to change, I can't do a thing before us. Uncle Irvin used to cut niggas' fingers off. He used to break his fingers and ears.
Look at the games that they got out now for you to play. Look at the games. You don't believe this is real. But when you asking how the kids, the drilling and the ops, you buying your kids these games. You allowing them to tap into these games online. This is what the games are.
The eyeglass kings talking about mad ace, full scale from my last ace. My father Butch was a kingpin, named Bread to Adam, raised as a god of 120 electrons in the atom, snatching leak packets, smacking alternative niggas, whatever's politically correct. I'm a learning nigga, my day one was all trained to point lead like a sharpener. My father was a mason, his father was a carpenter. My ideology reveals a dichotomy, gangster or prophet, my psyche, psychology on top of people.
Look at that. This is what the games is. Yeah. Go score points out there. Score points by being a drug dealer. Yeah. But I showed you that the feds and the state laws is really just giving points to criminals like this is not a game, even though it is a game.
A mill of detoxes, vegan, the shoes gated a coat, 3 boxes. It's all contradictory. You can't do shit to me. I died already. Every breath is a gift to me.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made me. Don't blame me. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made me. It must be so, 'cause baby, you never ever got to know me, to help me out with my problems. In this world's asylum, Society's so alive on in these streets where I'm from. You gotta pay me. It's the way the world made me.
The muscle game gone, his brains overgrown, fake jury everywhere, street credit overdrawn. As Alexander Bradley and Takashi just raps, or agents of change in the street culture for blacks. Is that road working? You need soul searching, the whole burden. Got him looking for a new face like an old person. I'm the same nigga today that I always been. The nigga with the biggest dick in the room, I'm always him. Stereotypes is nonsense, nigga. Fuck you mean? I don't look exactly like a conscious nigga. When I tell you I get money off the books, I'm an author. I get money off the books. Face it, lame. Train your brain to make it rain like Drake and Wayne. Record magic like David Blaine. I always bet on me and make that money dance. I'm still selling herbs, nigga. I just switched to other plans. So serious. Don't blame me now. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made me. Don't blame me. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made me. It must be so, cause baby, you never ever got to know me, to help me out with my problems. In this world's asylum, society's so alive on in these streets where I'm from. You gotta pay me. It's the way the world made me. Yeah, yeah. Don't blame me. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made me. Don't blame me. Don't blame me now. Yeah. You can't blame me. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made me. It must be so, cause baby, you never ever got to know me, to help me out with my problems. In this world's asylum, society's so alive on in these streets where I'm from. You gotta pay me. It's the way the world made me.
The white junior and the adult male were both shot in the head as they sat in a car and later died at the hospital. The video shows the woman jump out of the car and run for help. While still recording, the
Yeah. See, these are the games. Now let's look at this real life. Look, let's look at the real life game.
About to hit the gym, I need buzz this time. Last time it was, hold up, that's my jam. I'm about to turn this up now. I need the walls. This the Grammy with a nomination. Dollar sign Minister Inky, send me some. Piano is the heart of instruments. Airstring percussion, no coincidence. We hear with our mind, not with our ears. That's why here is to hear. We affect our peers. Deeper than chakras. Span with an opera. The freak accent that made the gun you was low to start popping your sarcophagus. Your flow hustle 3-6 mafia. The chick singing hook niggas like tilapia.
Now, I'm going to ask y'all a question. I'm going to give y'all some time to answer it. I'm going to put that 30-second clock on y'all. This guy right here was a YouTuber. And I know y'all been watching those videos with people eating up all kinds of foolishness. And I know some of y'all be letting y'all kids watch these videos with people eating up all kinds of foolishness. I'm going to ask y'all, what do you think this guy did for a living before he made these all-you-can-eat videos? Bodybuilder, vegan explainer, hairstylist, or real estate agent?
It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, you heard?
Oh man, somebody already got the answer. Wow, somebody know. All right, so I just go back to the video. Damn.
The octo chakra floats, a 6% difference in frequency, folks. 6, the magnetic hexagon carbon, flesh and vibrating strings, IG carbon, saving the sergeant. Ogun squad, living behind bars, we coming for the tune guard. These 48 frequencies, holding niggas, create the illusion of motion pictures. Gonna shake for that money, take for that money, make no mistake, next break for the money, make.
Yeah, this was Nick. This was Nick. And Nick used to do videos like Dr. Inky, and people used to tell Nick, man, Nick, your views is low. Your subs is low. Man, you got to get, you got this information you sharing with people is so powerful and so healthy and nutritious. Man, you should have more people should promote it. More people should share it. Well, guess what Nick did to get more views? See, Dr. Inky, I'm going to just tell y'all, I need y'all to hit the Cash App. I need y'all to go to the website, support Dr. Inky's real products, not the fake products. Hit the Cash App, hit the donate. So I don't have to do what Nick did. See, this is what Nick did.
For the money, take rate for the money. I suck your DNA for the money. Here drums the organs, here's the heartbeat. How dumb niggas come off the smart street. BX the Marcy, I'm the Marcus Sharky. In the spirit of the hieroglyphs, I'm the Sharky. I grind because I chose to, shine because I'm supposed to. Redefine your mind like I'm not supposed to. Run the play, let me coach you. I'll show you how my coach will become global. Music is the blueprint, life is shaped. Ads stop and lock, like vibrate. Chemical reactivity is shake, checkmate. If you can't make that melanin shake, you lost in the street if you don't know those lectures. Shine come down the photoreceptors. The theory of music is the overtone. I'm giving you the keys to hold your own. Pun intended, I wrote on Philly's houses. The alkaline slide with a big Willie bounce. Big city kid, Willie nerd, but he spit litty. That style becoming light, niggas stick with me. Bouncing overtones, create beats. From doubling or having frequencies on the I-King dream. The binary flow, remember, money is illegal. No, we're gonna shake for that money. Take for that money. Make no mistake, next break for the money. Bake cake for the money. Take rate for the money. I'll suck your DNA for the money. Drums the organs, here's the heartbeat. How dumb niggas come off the smart street. BX the Marcy, I'm the Marcus Sharky. In the spirit of the hieroglyphs, I'm the Sharky. I grind because I chose to, shine because I'm supposed to. Redefine your mind like I'm not supposed to. Run the play, let me coach you. I'll show you how rock coach you become glow. I told you, God is light is the answer. Articulated by horizontal gene transfer. Music composition seen by a conductor. What I see when I look at a protein structure. Pitch, range, dynamic, temperament, amino acid, electromagnetic fingerprint, sound design. Out the mouth of mine. Sumerians didn't wear Calvin Klein. Chemistry is genetics. Hot shot. Why where virus goes viral, call hot spot. Stick with God when you're not sure. Trace the haplotypes, plasma.
He went from a vegan to being so fat that he can't breathe. Now, why is this important? What is the fat doing? The fat destroys the fascia. Listen, the fascia that we took so much time to elaborate on and understand, the fat destroys that. Yeah. When you get the fat out of your body fat percentage, when you get your body fat percentage down, you're actually cleaning the fascia. Because fat is insulator. Fascia is conductive. It stores the negative ions and electrons. So your body's electric. It's literally your light body, your electric body. But the fat stops the movement of the negative ions and the electricity throughout the fascia. That's why it's so damaging to the body. See, y'all don't understand. This is all science. So you might want to join this game and make sure that you're sharing this. Make sure that you text my phone, 586-298-5000, so you really in the contest with us. Make sure that you sit down with your family members and you watch this video because we want you to win. You see that? When you win this game with Dr. Inky, you win health and longevity. When you win that street game, you win jail time or bullets or both. And maybe even the bullets don't come for you. Maybe the bullets take your kids or your babies or your lady or your mom or your daddy or somebody like, you know, the rapper down south. What they went to his, he was a rapper, but he was also online with the opt and all that. They couldn't catch him. So they went and blew up his mama house with his mama and father in it. Literally blew it up, like blew it up. Yeah. So that's that living out the GTA. Yeah. And now they done changed the laws again, you know, where they don't even have to have evidence of you doing a crime, just RICO. Yeah. We'll just lock you up on the ideas of you doing crime. Yeah. And then when you locked up, your family member's vulnerable. Or you could sacrifice and, you know, do like Nick did and just throw everything on the line for views and likes. What game did he win there? He got views and likes. He's making enough money online now that he lives in nice places and has everything he wants, except for his significant other. Because nobody wants to really be with a person like that look like that and live like that. So you're lonely. You don't have friendship and love. Yeah. You got to live more through the internet. Let me show you the game we playing again. If you notice, hey, that's why I'm addicted. And I don't mind saying I'm addicted.
We're not Blue Magic, bro. I know niggas on that. I stand by it. I guarantee it. Blue Magic. That's what you want, bro.
Cardiologist Dr. Scott Davis, thanks for being here with us this morning. So push-ups, explain this. How does this work?
Drop Blue Magic, right? So interesting study. So this particular Harvard, this study, they looked at a group of firefighters in the state of Indiana. And so they had 1,100 men, okay, that they studied over a 10-year period. And the average age was about 40 years old. So when the 25-year-old firefighter guys, I mean, they had a good broad, selection of men. And they followed over a 10-year period. And they found that the ability to do push-ups had a direct correlation in their cardiovascular risk.
This is how your body's supposed to work. Electricity is supposed to flow through your body. Yes, dag, Inky, you attacking the electric food people. They don't know none of this stuff, and they too arrogant. The electric diet, the electric food, the electric herb sellers, they too arrogant to stay students. So if they was humble enough to be like, oh yeah, I study with Inky, I got to keep studying, then I wouldn't have to call folks out, because that's the only thing to do to stop people, because people only study enough to start making money. Once they find a way to make money, then they don't need no more information. But electric food, electric herbs, they just trying to get more electricity in the body, but that's not how the body works. Your body's a mobile circuit, which means electricity is supposed to flow through it. Piling up more electricity in it is just as dangerous as not having enough electricity. Right? Which is why, you have two things in this diagram. This right here. See, you don't see this in the switch, but this is behind the switch. It's called a grounding screw and a grounding wire. In your outlet, you have a ground screw and a grounding wire. Where's yours? Yeah, it's called your hands and feet, your soles and palms, right? Voltage that is too high can cause premature failure of electric and electronic components due to overheating. What is that called in your body? That's inflammation, right? It's cumulative and irreversible, just like your body. If the voltage is too low, the amperage increases, which may result in components doing what? Melting down or the appliance malfunctioning. This is why brain and heart disease is the #1 and #2 causes of death. This is the reasons right here. The voltage is always too high or too low in your body because you don't know no better, and the people you following don't know no better, right? Sugar. Look at the difference between the brain on sugar on the right and the brain on the left. This process starts in your teenage years and your 20s to develop into full-blown Alzheimer's when you're 50, 60. If you're lucky, because it's starting in some people in our generation getting it in their 40s. Right? So again, more Harvard study. Regular exercise changes the brain to improve memory and thinking. Now, of course, I can tell you get the Histonics on my website, get the watermelanin on my website. But guess what? Even if you're taking the herbs, but you're not exercising, you don't get the full benefit. Right? Now, write these two things down. Irisin and adiponectin. These are produced by the body when you're doing these exercises. The exercises in our program, hint, hint, wink, wink, are designed specifically to maximize these processes. And the book is free. This book is free, just like this whole PDF I'm going to give you free. That's why when I say hit the Cash App, I'm serious, because we really giving away the material. That's how I do the research, from the Patreon and from the Cash App, right? Exercise and Alzheimer's, again, from Harvard. So I could have just came on here and told you, oh yeah, go to my website, get the watermelanin for dopamine and get the Histonics for the, but you need that Harvard research to follow it up yourself. Yeah. So now, hopefully this is making more sense when I say the winners control their mind and body as well as their epigenetics. Last but not least, we closing out. And they're like, man, we've been here forever. It's all right. You can come back and watch in pieces. Watch this with your family. There's already been experiments done that show DNA transmits extremely low frequency electromagnetic waves to mimic the genetic information. And this is how epigenetics is so potent. And not just epigenetics, but this is how you get reoccurring bacteria and viral infections, because you have resonance. And until you clean out the fascia of these tissues, you don't change those signals you attract and resonate. We might need to do a whole class on this. After 5 hours, I don't think y'all brain, y'all like, oh, hold on, that's too much right now. They've already done the experiment. The experiment started this way, in water, DNA in water. But they've already taken it to another level to take that same DNA in a beaker, transmit the electromagnetic signal to a server, then to a computer, then to a digital file transmitted by Wi-Fi back to a server into an empty beaker. And guess what? They recovered the DNA in an empty beaker with just pure water. They recorded the DNA. What did I tell you? God is music, right? Okay. I told you God is music. Christ is a frequency. Okay. What they did in the laboratory. In the laboratory, they recorded the electromagnetic information, the electromagnetic waves, right? The DNA information, the light, stored the light in a synthetic magnetic field known as a hard drive, transmitted it from the magnetic field as light again through Wi-Fi to be stored in another magnetic field, transmitted electrically through wires into another hard drive in the server, then electrically into a coiled copper wrapped around a beaker in pure water, and recovered that DNA. So again, AmericanHealer.website, text 586-298-5000, right? You don't want to be running around with the fake stuff. You want to get the real stuff, not the knockoff. Not the knockoff. See, this is the knockoff. This yellow, this is the knockoff. You want to get that real thing. Now, the estrogen fast. The estrogen fast is important for you to do time to time so that you clean the fascia. The estrogen fast will help you clean the fascia because estrogen is what helps to warp the fascia and store fat in the fascia. So you got to flush the body of estrogen, which they're flooding your body with, right? So here you got the estrogen fast that I invented, and people stole it and put it in books, and it went around the world. And the same people that's making thousands of dollars off of my estrogen fast, they don't say, oh, Inky is our teacher. They don't say, oh, we got this from Inky. They don't reference where they got it from. They just run with it. But you don't need to deal with the knockoffs, just the original, right? You'll notice tomatoes are on both. Tomatoes are on both. Tomatoes are good for you in terms of your estrogen and bad for you. What's the difference? Cooked tomatoes. Cooked tomatoes boost estrogen. Raw tomatoes flush estrogen. So that's the difference with that, right? Your vitamin D. Let's get to this vitamin D thing real quick, right? Our vegan vitamin D3 on the website, it does not have sweeteners. So I know some of y'all like that vitamin D3 y'all getting from other places. It tastes nice and sweet. You give it to your kids like it, but it has sweeteners and sugars in there. So yeah, ours does not. It tastes plain, or you can get it in the Blue Magic. But this is the vitamin D chart. This is how you know exactly how much vitamin D you're supposed to have in the blood plasma so that the plasma and the fascia function efficiently. This chart does not exist outside of Dr. Inky. I made this chart from scratch. It took me about 1.5 years to make that chart. It took people about 2 minutes to steal it. Yeah, that way. This chart I got from online, right? This just tells you all of the connections of vitamin D and how vitamin D works. And also, when you read, it does have the website where you can go to and get some more information from these good folks where I got it from. You see how that goes? Also, from that same site, I got the ATP map, which you can use to get a further understanding of the benefit of the estrogen fast, because estrogen not only boosts up the fat, but it forces your body to flush magnesium and zinc. It forces the body to flush magnesium and zinc. So if you're dealing with weight issues, you're also dealing with zinc and magnesium issues. And the magnesium issue is why you don't have energy, because your body needs magnesium for ATP. The zinc issue is why if you're overweight or you're carrying fat, you don't have a good immune system. It's because your body doesn't have enough zinc. Now, with the chemiluminescence or the detox, let me I haven't went over this in a minute, but these are all of the different components to the detox, right? Fat solution, the epigenetics, the lymphatic flush, the white blood cell activity, the anabolic and aromatase inhibition, blood sugar and insulin. The list goes on. Each one of these is listed with the herbs. All of these herbs are in the chemiluminescence, right? And I give a further breakdown here. Like I said, this would be in the PDF, which breaks down all of the active compounds in each plant that's in this herbal formulation, right? All of these different herbs. So it tells you what the bladderwrack is rich in, right? The yarrow, the cascada sagrada, the Irish moss, the cayenne, the kelp, the happy tree, the Madagascar periwinkle, the mayapple, the Pacific yew, all of these things, the cloves, the amla, the coriander, all of these things, what they do, how they work, so you know in detail. Again, join the movement. Hashtag Blue Magic Heart Challenge. Let's get them push-ups in. And let me see if I have any questions. Cash App should be pinging, but let me see. Cash App is not pinging right now. Cash App is not pinging right now. Shout out to Dennis Thompson. Shout out to Amber Glow. Shout out to Brendan Austin. Shout out to Nadeem Lashari. Shout out to Steve Stansel, right? But the Cash App is not blinging right now. Those are the people who have contributed to the Cash App during the course of the program. I'm going to assume everybody else is going to contribute on their own time. Join the movement. I don't see no questions. All right. I'm going to go hydrate and rest up so that we can get ready for the Tell Us Why You Mad show. Make sure y'all share this video.